Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Welcome back, everybody, to part 2 of day 22, if I'm correct. I'm losing my mind. Of the infamous, notorious, mind-blowing Amber Heard Johnny Depp trial. And wow, it has been quite an interesting morning so far. A lot of stuff has been going on. Never thought that watching things in a trial would be so entertaining and so fun to watch. But man, it has been wild. They're going to be starting here any second now. So I'm really glad to be able to watch with you guys, watch the second part of all this, the second half of the day. Had to take care of a few things. I'm looking forward to sharing my lunch with you guys because, the break for me wasn't very long. Had a bunch of stuff I had to take care of. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do my lunch hour show, but we're going to be doing that here in a little bit. So do me a favor. We're about to get things popping off here very, very shortly, as we already know. So please do me that solid. Hit that like button down below. Okay. And do not forget, let me just do this because they're still getting things together. Hit that like button down below. Send it past 200 likes really quick. I see a bunch of y'all starting to file in. Things are about to pop off, I think. Hopefully. We got to see what happens with Johnny Depp. So don't forget to hit. He's still got to do his cross. It might be short, but please do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Crush it. Make a scream out your damn name. It looks like the jury is starting to come in right now. And we're going to be getting things popping here. Watching the latter half of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, day 22. Basically, they have today and tomorrow. Team Depp has today and tomorrow to get all their ish together.
Examination.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So we'll see what happens. Here comes the cross. Let's go. Enjoy, guys.
Mr. Depp, I'd like to start with the honeymoon that you and Ms. Heard took in late July 2015.
Certainly.
You testify that you took a train ride from Bangkok to Singapore. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you claim that on this train ride that Ms. Heard hit you in the face, correct?
Yes.
And left a black eye, correct?
Yes.
And Michelle, could you please pull up PX 162?
Is that already in evidence?
Yes, Your Honor.
Published to the jury?
Thank you. Mr. Depp, this is the picture that your counsel showed you both in your prior or showed.
Get that audio back on, y'all. Come on. Come on. Bring it back on, dagnabbit. Great. Great.
I'm sorry, which number was it?
This is a new exhibit, Your Honor,
There we go.
1905.
And that's defendants?
Defendants Exhibit 1905.
Okay, thank you.
Ask for permission to publish, Your Honor.
Oh, you want to put it in evidence? Okay, any objection to 1905?
With the comments, we have no objection to the photograph itself. We would ask the comments be redacted as hearsay.
Well, I'd like to at least question the witness about the
I
comments.
have no objection to the photograph being published.
Okay, well, then let's wait a minute. Mr. Depp, you see here, these are 4 pictures of you, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and below it indicate that they were taken on July 24th, 2015 in Bangkok, Thailand, correct?
Objection, lack of foundation, calls for speculation.
Overruled.
In Bangkok, Thailand, so before the train ride.
Correct, before the train ride, because you
Yeah.
didn't get on the train ride till the 25th, is that right?
I somewhere in that area, I guess.
Okay. Your Honor, I'd ask for permission to publish this to the jury.
All right,
If it's just the photographs, we have no
all
objection.
right, if you want to redact the, just have the photographs in it?
Sure. We'll do 1905.
5, just with redaction, which will be fine. I think there's still some on the bottom. I'm just,
It's just redact that.
okay.
Oh man, what's going on? Okay. Jeez Louise.
Thank you, Michelle.
All right, publish.
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, could you please scroll down to the bottom 2 pictures there? Mr. Depp, in these pictures that were taken before you got on the train ride for your honeymoon, where you claim that Miss Heard hit you and gave you a black eye, you have the exact same shadow or sunburn or mark under your left eye.
Show the picture.
The exact same mark, don't you?
That's the, when you get a side light, you see the occipital bone. So that is the exact area.
Yep. And it's actually,
A side light will cause that.
yeah, well,
as
the
well.
picture's not being taken from the side, is it? It's being taken
No,
head
no, no,
on,
no,
isn't it?
no. The lens in front.
Yeah.
The light on the side.
Right.
Will cause that occipital bone, I believe it's called,
Mhm.
to appear sunken. And-
Just like lights on the side of a train car, correct?
Objection
Well,
calls for
You
speculation.
can take that down, Michelle.
that was in fact in the dark.
Sus-
I had a chef, I had people on either side of me, so
If you could
I
wait for the
don't
next-
see where the light fill is from the side there.
Mr. Depp, if you could wait for the next question, next question.
Next question.
Sorry.
Even the picture your team chose to show you on that train isn't accurate, is it? Let's pull up.
Objection
exhibit-
calls for speculation.
Let's pull up exhibit 1859, please.
1859, is that in evidence? or-
No, Your Honor.
1859.
Mr. Depp, this is the same picture or the same, the exact same scene displayed in PX 162 that you looked at this morning, correct?
That looks like my face has been, the eyes have been photoshopped.
No, okay. So this post from the Eastern and Oriental Express's Facebook page, you're saying that that's Photoshopped?
Is that from their page? I would, sure, why wouldn't they?
Let's pull them up side by side, please.
Show it.
Your Honor, I move for the admission of this exhibit. We can just have the pictures. We don't need the,
Any objection to the picture?
Objection, lack of foundation, lack of authentication.
is that you in the photo, Mr. Depp?
It is me, but it's clearly.
Your
it's
Honor,
been-
I'd move to
it's
strike
been-
anything after that, first of all. And would ask for admission of this photograph.
All right, just a photograph?
Yep.
You're gonna,
We maintain our lack of authentication, lack of foundation.
all right, over objection, I'll allow 1859 and
Thank you, Your Honor. Michelle, could I please get you to,
you need to redact it first.
we actually have one, it's, that will admit or ask to be admitted as 1858. That is just the picture.
I already have 18.
Okay, so we'll call this 1859 then.
So this is 1859.
Yeah, we just need to,
Okay.
We'll fix that exhibit sticker on the bottom and get you that correct 1859.
1859.
And Michelle, what I'd like to ask you to do, please, is to put the picture displayed as 1859, just was admitted into evidence, next to PX 162 that was shown to Mr. Depp this morning.
Yeah,
Okay. You can pop, those are both in evidence.
this is
Can you try to
ridiculous.
make them the same size,
This is
please?
them grasping at straws, y'all. This is them grasping at bloody straws. This is
This is the exact same picture, isn't it, Mr. Depp?
stupid.
With radically different quality. And
No, you answered my question.
Rotten boards.
Commissioner
I didn't know I
Summers.
wasn't done.
You answered my question, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
What a dick. I said it.
Mr. Depp, you had that, whatever mark it is, whether it's a sunburn, whether it's a shadow, whether it's the light reflecting, you had that same mark on your eye before you got on that train.
Well, it's pretty difficult to get a sunburn on a train. And in
Let's
the
go to-
photographs with the child, I don't look particularly sunburned. Can we see those again?
Let's pull up exhibit one. Actually, no, let's talk about Australia for a little bit.
Oh, good.
You testified that you've never done ecstasy more than a handful of times in your life, correct?
6, 7 times.
Now, you heard Ms. Heard's testimony. You've been sitting here. I know you didn't look at her, but you heard her testimony. And
Oh, I
you heard her. You didn't hear her say you ingested 8 to 10 all at once. She said she came down after being apart from you for some time, and there were 8 to 10 gone from the bag. Correct?
Objection form compound.
Oh, overruled.
I also heard Ms. Heard say I reached into a bag and poured a bunch of
Yep,
MDMA down my mouth.
correct.
Um,
That's right. She didn't say you poured
handfuls.
10 at one time, did
No,
she?
she said a handful,
Okay.
which is more than 10, I believe.
Okay, the fact is, Mr. Depp, you were asking for ecstasy. You who have only done it 6 times in your
Good
life,
afternoon,
you were
everybody.
asking for ecstasy and cocaine within minutes of being admitted to the hospital after suffering your finger injury, weren't you?
Objection compound.
I don't recall that I was
Overruled.
Let's
begging
pull up,
for any drugs.
yeah, let's pull up plaintiff's or exhibit 393, please. You just said you don't recall you were begging for any drugs?
No, I
that-
don't, but I do
okay.
recall being in great pain and great distress, so
Okay,
I could have asked
Anything's
for a
possible.
teddy bear as well.
okay. So this has been admitted, Your Honor.
This is in evidence, okay? We publish.
We haven't seen anything. Show us the stuff.
And if you can blow up the text, please, Michelle. In this text message, Mr. Depp, you were, after you suffered your finger injury, you just testified you don't recall asking for any drugs. You're texting Nathan Holmes, your personal assistant, need more whitey stuff ASAP, brother man, and the e-business. Now, we went over this in your cross-examination, didn't we?
If you say so, sir,
And whitey stuff is cocaine,
I would say.
and the e-business is ecstasy. You already
Yeah,
testified.
quite likely, yes.
Okay.
So I
I take that.
didn't recall that.
Thank you.
But
Can you pull up exhibit 1817, please?
Yeah, I'm looking at other streams and they're not showing it anywhere. So all
This
this
is,
stuff is not for us to see. Sucks.
And picture that you were shown this morning, Mr. Depp,
yes,
and you kind of made some illustrations on the picture and gave your account
Exactly.
of what you see here. Mr. Depp, you
Exactly,
testified
Angela.
previously that
I think they're
the
just
vodka
mad
bottle that you
about TMZ.
allege cut off your finger was a handle of vodka, correct?
yes.
You've already testified to that,
Second
correct?
bottle, there was a handle on it, bottle,
Right.
yes.
This bottle, whatever it is, to the extent it's glass at all, that's in the corner of this room, that's not a handle of vodka.
Objection calls for speculation.
I think you'll find that I said 2 bottles.
Mhm. Well,
That's
actually,
wrong.
what you testified to this morning, Mr. Depp, was that the bottle in the corner was the handle. And there is no other bottle in the picture, is there?
No, that's not what I testified. I testified that, may I touch the screen?
Yes.
This is glass. This is glass.
And that's not a handle. Neither of those are handles of vodka.
It's that big, it's broken. The handles up the top on those vodka bottles, sir.
Yeah,
I mean,
And if you combine all that glass on the floor, that doesn't make up the amount of glass in a handle of vodka, does it?
Objection calls for speculation.
I'm not,
There's objection. Hold on.
All right.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
There is no picture of a handle of vodka broken on that floor, is there, Mr. Depp?
no, I don't see it. I see glass under this chair here.
Okay. Well, you testified this morning that you did see it, so
they
it's good to
are
get that clarification.
grasping at
Let's-
No, I didn't
straws.
say I saw a handle.
You also testified this morning that yeah, and I want to get this, I want to make sure that we're on the same page here. You
I don't think we will.
testified earlier this morning that there was no phone in the bar area downstairs. Is that what you testified to?
I don't recall a phone in the bar area.
Okay,
I don't recall a Bakelite phone in the bar area where
okay.
no.
Let's pull up,
Wow.
Michelle, please, the UK day 3, page 421. Mr. Depp, we've done this drill before. This is your testimony from the UK, correct?
Can I please have,
It's this, we don't have copies for everyone. It's on the screen.
Your
right
Honor,
there.
may I please, I would like to have what he's, the testimony of the
Here,
witness.
you can have my copy.
Thank you.
Mr. Depp, you remember giving testimony in the UK trial for several days, correct?
Okay, so, yeah, okay, here.
Yep.
So I do remember a telephone in the bar area and this
Yeah, well,
telephone you picked up was made of Bakelite.
This is my turn to do this, Mr. Depp.
I'm sorry.
On page 421, line 19, you were asked a question, and this telephone that you picked up was made of, I'm sorry, I'm going to go up on the line 15. Question, at one stage when you were in the kitchen screaming at Miss Hurd, you picked up a wall-mounted telephone. Do you remember a telephone in the kitchen? Answer, no ma'am, I remember a telephone in the bar area. Question, and this telephone that you picked up was made of Bakelite. Do you know what I mean by that? A retro telephone, wall-mounted but retro. Answer, it was a wall-mounted telephone, but it was not Bakelite. It was a modern phone. It was plastic. Question, a phone that was a wall-mounted phone that was picked up, can you scroll down, please? Question, a phone that was a wall-mounted phone that was picked up by you, held in your right hand, and you were repeatedly smashing it against the wall in your right hand. Answer, that is possible. But I do not, if that is the case, I do not believe I spent very much time on the phone. I remember ripping the phone off the wall. That was your testimony, correct?
It seems it would be yes.
Thank you.
I,
Answer my question. Thank you. Mr. Depp, you've claimed before, you've said, if I'm angry and I've got to lash out or hit somebody, I'm going to do it. And I don't care what the repercussions are. Anger doesn't pay rent. It's got to go. It's got to be evicted. You've said that before, haven't you?
have you a quote from me somewhere saying that?
It's my question to you. You've said that before, haven't you? Well, actually, let's refresh your recollection. Can you pull up
Be glad.
the Ghost in the Machine article, please?
Possibly about paparazzis.
Mr. Depp, you see the picture of you on the lower left.
Yes.
Appears to be shirtless and wearing a crown, I believe. You see the long paragraph above that that starts with "in the Mark Hotel."
Ah, yes,
You see
yes,
that?
yes, I
At
did.
the bottom of that, does this refresh your recollection that you said, "I have a lot of love inside me and a lot of anger inside me as well. If I love somebody, then I'm going to love them. If I'm angry and I've got to lash out or hit somebody, I'm going to do it. And I don't care what the repercussions are. Anger doesn't pay rent. It's got to go. It's got to be evicted." Did I read that right?
Oh, boy.
You did read that right, yes.
Thank you. You can take that down, Michelle, please. Now, Mr. Depp, you've also claimed that you've said before that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours, haven't you?
Could you repeat that?
And you've also said that with
Could you
respect-
repeat that, please?
Yeah, that if you want to be with a woman sexually, that she is rightfully yours.
That's ludicrous.
You've also said that with respect to women that you want to be with,
What?
you've remarked, I need, I want, I take, haven't you?
Oh, wow.
Equally as ludicrous. No.
Can you pull up DX 883?
Oh,
please?
no.
You can pull it what you like. I've never said those words. There's not enough hubris in me to say anything like that.
883,
883, Your Honor.
it's not,
DX,
is it
it
empty?
is not admitted yet.
Okay, 88.
Of course, it's not admitted yet. You sure he wrote this? You
Mr.
sure?
Depp, these are text messages from you to Stephen Deuters on February 22nd, 2017, correct?
This looks nothing like me. You might have mistaken.
Mr. Depp, we can show the full unredacted. You've looked at a number of text messages in this case, and the words him as the identifier, that's you, correct? In every text message we've seen in this case.
Yeah, sure. It still doesn't mean it hasn't been screwed with.
Facts.
That's not anything that I've ever said or written.
You want to see the whole thing unredacted? We can look at that too.
No, because you could have typed it up last night. No.
I can assure you I didn't type it up last night, Mr. Depp. Your Honor, I'd move for the admission of Exhibit 883.
All right, any objection?
Objection on relevance grounds, Your Honor.
All right, well, do you want to approach for a moment? Let's take a look.
Wow. These guys are a piece of work. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. You cannot tell me. And Long Crime, where I'm watching, we're watching this stream, needs to get their sound on point. This is trash right now. But the sound is doing exactly what this whole interaction, this whole testimony, this cross is right now. And this cross is absolute trash. You have got to be kidding me. Wow. Wow, y'all. This is trash. They're grasping at straws right now. They know for a fact that, oh man, they're screwed here in a second. As soon as the flight attendant goes on and the reporter comes on, they're screwed. But look at the smile on Amber's face. She's happy about this.
Thank you. Mr. Depp, you're aware that these are text messages. You can see the bottom right where it says Depp and then it has a number, 8129. Those are produced by you in this litigation. You understand that, right?
I understand that.
Okay. All right, Michelle, could you please, let's take a look at the top text first.
Oh boy. Surprise,
Mr.
surprise.
Depp, on February 22nd, 2017, you texted Mr. Deuters, right, exactly. Molly's pussy is rightfully mine. Should I not just bust in and remove its hinges tonight? Did I read that right?
You read it right.
And the one beneath that, you say, I want to change her understanding of what it is like to be thrashed about like a pleading mackerel. And then in all caps, you write, I need, I want, I take. Is that right? Right.
You read it right. But I did not write that. Perhaps someone else.
You wrote every
on my
other
phone.
text that you produced that came from you in this litigation, didn't you?
Not necessarily. Sometimes you give your phone to people and they
Now,
text
when you
from
got
it.
off that plane
Excuse me?
from Boston,
I'm sorry?
when you got off the plane from Boston, you knew Miss Heard was angry with you.
Patricia,
didn't you?
this is trash.
It was pretty much a given.
Objection calls for speculation.
And
I think this is all made
you
up.
understood her to be angry, right?
This is all coming out
She
now.
was angry, yes.
And you asked Mr. Deuters, same person.
Come on, man. This is cap.
Please, thank you.
This is all
Same
lies.
person that you texted in that last exhibit. You asked Mr. Deuters to communicate with her on your behalf, correct?
I don't know what you're talking about. You'll have to explain.
You asked Mr. Deuters to communicate with Miss Heard by text to speak to her about the incident, correct?
About what incident?
To speak to her about the plane flight.
Molly, I was
The
thinking
plane
Molly.
plane?
I thought Molly, he was
Boston
talking about the drug.
The Boston plane. So you're saying that influenced Mr. Duders. I told him that he had to write this, and I told him that he had to write that. Is that what you're saying?
No. It wasn't uncommon for Mr. Duders to communicate with Ms. Hurd on your behalf, correct?
Objection calls for speculation.
He was your personal assistant. Mr. Duders was your personal assistant, correct?
I had two personal assistants
Right.
at the time.
He was one of them, right?
Yeah, Mr. Duders was one of them. Yes, sir.
Right. And it wasn't uncommon for you to ask Mr. Duders to communicate with Ms. Hurd on your behalf, correct?
It wasn't uncommon for any of them to communicate with Ms. Hurd on my behalf if I were on set or unavailable or any of that.
Or if Ms. Hurd and you had a fight, you would sometimes have them communicate with Ms. Hurd on your behalf, correct?
I think my crew caught on very quickly that
Just a yes or no,
would be
Mr. Depp.
That's a very good
necessary
theory.
for them to.
No, just a yes or no. It was not uncommon after
Objection,
you and Ms.
Your
Hurd
Honor.
had.
F you.
I'd ask that he be allowed to finish his
F you,
answer.
rotten.
All right.
You rotten
Go ahead and ask
son
your
of a
question.
gun.
Thank you, Your Honor. Wasn't uncommon for you to have one of your personal assistants communicate with Ms. Hurd after you and her had a fight.
I disagree because you're insinuating that I had them do it, and you don't know that.
After the Boston plane flight, you had Mr. Duders communicate with Ms. Hurd, correct?
This is not
When I'm
good.
asked what to do, I said placate her, just placate her like we always do.
And you told him, send her whatever message you need to send to
I'm
placate her,
sorry, he's
correct?
sorry, he feels bad, yes, because any other answer, it would turn into World War III.
Okay. Can you pull up Exhibit 229, please? Your Honor, I think you know where I'm going here, and based on Mr. Depp's testimony, I'd ask move for the admission of Exhibit 229.
Your Honor, can we please approach?
Sure.
Wow. Okay. There's a lot to unfold here. First off, said something along the lines of this Molly conversation, right? Now, first off, let me just make this abundantly clear. They're talking about Molly, but that could be about the drug. Like he's about to go F it up. You know what I mean? He about to get high, man, just getting high, right? So he could literally just be saying, we about to party. We about to rip the hinges off this door. That's literally what it seems like what he's trying to say. Like we about
Mr.
to
Depp, you
go hard in the paint and get
were
high.
pretty angry after Ms. Hurd got her temporary restraining order, weren't you?
Angry. I was, more than anything, I was hurt.
And you testified earlier this morning, you claimed that you somehow were responsible for her getting
How's all this
involved,
evidence coming out
with
now?
Warner Brothers, correct? That's what you testified to this morning. You also tried to get her fired from Aquaman, didn't you? After the temporary restraining order.
Which question would you like me to handle first, sir?
One question, sir. You tried to get her fired from the Aquaman after the temporary restraining order, didn't you?
Well, what is related to the story about me getting?
It just
her-
yes or no, Mr. Depp. I
Sir,
didn't
life
ask
does
what
not come
related,
down to
what
yes or
story
no at all
related to.
times. I can't please you with a yes or a no every single time.
It's a yes or no question, Mr. Depp. You tried to get Ms. Hurd fired, didn't you?
Answer's no.
All right, let's pull up Exhibit 821.
Ay, ay, ay.
Is that
Mr.
me
Depp,
trying to
is
get her
this-
fired?
This is a text message that you had with your sister, Christy Dombrowski. She was the first witness in this case, right?
She doesn't work at Warner Brothers.
She-
You can't fire Amber.
This is a text message you had with her on June 4th, 2016, isn't it?
June 12th, yes.
Your Honor, move for the admission of Exhibit 821 as redacted.
Any objection?
We would object on relevance grounds, Your Honor.
I'll overrule that objection, 821 in evidence.
And on June 4th, 2016, Mr. Depp, you texted your sister, I want her replaced on that W film. Did I read that right?
You did.
Her is referring to Amber, right?
That's correct.
And WB is Warner Brothers, correct?
Again, correct.
And then after you sent this text to your sister, following the temporary restraining order, you reached out to Guy Silverstein to have him fire Amber, correct?
Who?
It's Greg Silverstein, I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
I don't recall reaching out to Greg Silverstein.
You reach out to Sue Kroll to get him to
Particularly.
fire Miss Heard, right?
I had vetted Miss Heard.
I
had vetted Miss Heard.
Mr. Depp, you got your chance to
Warner
speak this morning.
Brothers
Your Honor,
Warner Brothers
Sorry.
had two franchises.
Mr. Depp, if you could just answer the question, sir. All right, next question.
you reached out to Greg Silverstein to get him to try to get Amber fired from Aquaman, didn't you?
I
Asked and
reached-
answered.
Excuse me?
Asked and answered.
It's a yes or no question that he hasn't answered, yes or no.
All right. Okay.
Yes or no, sir? You reached out to Greg Silverstein to try to get Amber fired from Aquaman.
Second half of your question is wrong, sir.
You reached out to
to
Sue
them
Kroll.
because I vetted her.
No, Mr. Depp. You reached out to Sue
Well,
Kroll
if you
to
like,
get
I
her
don't
to try to get her to help you get Amber fired from Aquaman, didn't you?
No.
And you reached out to Kevin Sujihara to try to get him to help you get Amber fired from Aquaman, didn't you?
No.
They got evidence now.
Can you pull up Exhibit 857,
Damn.
please?
Oh, damn.
Mr. Depp, this is a text message that you sent to Christian Carino on August 15th, 2016, correct?
This is already in evidence, correct? Or is it 857?
Parts of it are,
Oh, so not this.
not this
Well,
version.
this can't be 857, then don't.
850, sorry.
Mr. Umber, you can't do this to me.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Understood. We'll call it 857A.
857. Okay. All right. Yes, sir. Thank you.
My apologies, Your Honor. Mr. Depp, you sent this text to Christian Carino on August 15th?
I most certainly did.
Okay. And in this text that you sent to Christian Carino is the person who used to be Amber's agent and then was your agent for a time, correct?
That is correct.
And in this text, Your Honor, permission to publish, please.
Do you want to put in evidence
Yeah.
first?
Move for admission of
Any
857A.
objection?
No objection.
All right, 857A, as redacted, will be in evidence.
Thank you, Your Honor. And in this text, Mr. Depp,
Boy.
you said, she's begging for total global humiliation. She's going to get it. I'm going to need your texts about San Francisco, brother. I'm even sorry to ask, but she sucked Mollusk's crooked dick and he gave her some shitty lawyers. I have no mercy, no fear, and not an ounce of emotion or what I once thought was love for this gold-digging, low-level, dime a dozen, mushy, pointless, dangling, overused, flappy fish market.
Wow.
I'm so fucking happy she wants to go to fight this out. She will hit the wall hard, and I cannot wait to have this waste of a cum guzzler out of my life. I met a fucking sublime little Russian here, which made me realize the time I blew on that 50-cent stripper. I wouldn't touch her with a goddamn glove. I can only hope that karma kicks in and takes the gift of breath from her. Sorry, man, but now I will stop at nothing. Let's see if Mollusk has a pair. Come see me face to face. I'll show him things he's never seen before, like the other side of his dick when I slice it off.
Wow.
Did I read that right?
You did.
You most definitely did.
Now, not long after this, let me take that down, Michelle. Thank you.
Oh,
Not long after
God.
this, you met Mr. Waldman
Oh,
in the
God.
late summer or fall of 2016, correct?
Oh, God.
Yeah, September, October, somewhere in there, whatever.
And he's been your attorney since then,
Oh,
correct?
God. Wow.
Yes, sir.
And you met with him,
Tell me how you really feel, Johnny.
the Daily Mail, in London in February 2020, didn't you?
Oh,
I'm sorry.
man.
Again?
You and Mr. Waldman together met with the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, didn't you?
Are you asking me a question about my attorney and I?
Yeah, that you two met with people from the Daily Mail
He
in
was
London
mad.
in February 2020.
He was big mad. Do you blame him for being big mad when he lost
Was
a
that
finger?
during the London trial?
No,
No?
no, in February.
I don't recall it, though.
Okay.
I don't.
To
Oh
the
my
extent Mr.
God.
Waldman testified that you did, you don't dispute that, correct?
I just don't recall it.
Okay. You don't disagree with Mr. Waldman's testimony that you and he met with people from the Daily Mail in London in February 2020, correct?
If that's Mr. Waldman's testimony, then.
Okay.
But I just didn't necessarily know who these people were,
Right.
I guess.
The same month that the Daily Mail released alleged tapes between you and Amber.
Objection
Correct.
calls for speculation, lack of
Alleged-
personal knowledge.
Alleged.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Now, Mr. Depp, you testified, and I wrote it down before lunch. You said, when Ms. Myers asked you something about, how does it feel to make you, or how does it feel to be here? You said, I've been living with it for 6 years and waiting to be able to get the truth out. Remember saying that?
Yes.
Sounds
You also
fair.
said, I've spoken up for what I've been carrying on my back. Something to that effect. You remember saying that?
Something to that
Yes.
effect.
And you've claimed several times in this proceeding, Mr. Depp, that this trial is your first chance to tell your story, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
But that's just not true, is it, Mr. Depp? That's not
Yes.
true.
No, for me, it is true.
Okay, well, here's the thing. The fact is, Mr. Depp, when Dan Wooten wrote an article that was published in The Sun calling you a wife beater,
Mhm.
you brought a lawsuit against The Sun in June of 2018, correct?
Yes, I brought
And that was 6 months before Miss Heard ever wrote her op-ed, correct?
I don't know.
And in the summer of 2020, there was a several-week trial in London against The Sun, correct?
Ms. Heard was not a party to that trial, was she?
Not my question, Mr. Depp. In the article that The Sun wrote that you sued over, you sued for Mr. Wooten calling you a wife beater, correct?
Objection asked and answered.
Sustained. Next question.
And in the trial that you subsequently brought, you called a lot of witnesses, right?
I don't know what a lot is. I don't know.
Many people testified on both sides of the trial, correct?
Yes, many people.
And many exhibits were introduced, correct?
Like a trial, yes.
And you, just like in this trial, you were on the stand for several days in that trial, correct?
Yes, sir, I was.
And that trial involved the same factual issues that you are litigating here, which is whether you
Objection
committed
calls
domestic
for
abuse
illegal.
against Amber Heard.
Sustain the objection. Next
Wow.
question.
You brought that case against The Sun because you were angry at The Sun for calling you a wife beater, correct?
Yeah, that's
And you
probably a pretty good reason.
And you went through that trial in London, correct?
I did indeed, yes.
Mr. Depp, you've already had a chance to tell your story, haven't you?
No, there
Objection
were
asked and
great
answered.
limitations in the UK trial.
Overruled. Okay.
No further questions.
All right. Redirect.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, rotten piece of trash. God, he was terrible. He's terrible.
Mr. Depp, Mr. Rottenborn asked you some questions about the UK trial. Why do you feel that this is the first time that you've actually had an opportunity to tell your story and, as you said, get the load off your back?
As the UK trial was me suing Dan Wooten and The Sun for defamation for calling me a wife beater. The UK have there are different laws, there are different ways they handle things. There are also limitations in evidence. Some things can be brought up, some things cannot be
Your Honor,
brought up.
he said
And
it calls
Mr.
for a legal
Rottenborn.
conclusion. He's talking about limitations in evidence in the English.
Your Honor, he's talking about his experience testifying.
Overruled.
You'll be okay. Yes,
Damn, Johnny.
there is a very,
oh, God. You'll be okay. You'll be
everything
okay,
is quite
Rottenborn.
boxed in. with regard to what can be said, what can be spoken about. So Ms. Heard provided information to the Sun as their star witness, but the case was not brought against
Oh my God, I'm done.
Ms. Heard. It was brought against the Sun newspaper, journal, whatever it is.
Mr. Rottenborn referenced that you were on the stand for multiple days.
4.5, I believe, yes.
What was the nature of that examination? Or excuse me, who was conducting that examination of you?
QC Sasha was
And whose attorney was that?
the Sun's.
Can we please pull up DX 857A?
All right, it's already in evidence, so you can publish it.
I'm done.
Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing this text message when Mr. Rottenborn was questioning you?
Oh, yes, I do.
Can you explain what you're conveying to Mr. Carino in this text message?
A man that's very upset.
I'm in total shock that this is happening to me, that my entire life on the planet has been brought to the head of a pin with all this completely, utterly false information. So I am, when you're accused of horrific acts,
No
and
kidding.
things that you have not
LJ.
done, when it's actually some very ugly things that are going out there into the world about you on a nonstop basis by Ms. Heard and her team, you have a tendency as humans to get very, very irate and angry, not to the point where you go out and hurt someone, not to the point even where you assault a cabinet. But you do get irate. You do wonder why this person is doing this to me. So many things go through your head. And then you've got your family, you've got your kids, you've got your parent. My mom, thankfully, didn't get to read any of this because that would have killed her. But my father, my family, everyone that I've met, the people that have supported me, suddenly I'm
Absolutely.
scum. Why? Never had to happen.
Can't talk to your
One
friends
little
and
lie.
can't express your anger to your friends?
So yes, very angry.
Could we please pull up Defendants Exhibit 821?
Jeez. Rottenborn, you dick.
Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing this text message when Mr. Rottenborn was asking you questions?
Yes, he loves this one, yes.
Yes. Would you care to explain what you're trying to convey in this text message?
Well, Warner Brothers were about to find themselves in quite a dilemma
So I'd like to see too.
as the person that they had just cast.
Objection, Your Honor. Lack of foundation as to what Warner Brothers knew or thought.
Didn't I meet with them?
You could just wait
love it.
for the question.
The flappy fish
I'll sustain the
market.
objection.
Come on down. The amber is overused.
Mr. Depp, without
Flappy
explaining what
fish market.
Warner Brothers felt, why did you send this text message to your sister? And what were you trying to convey to your sister when you sent this text message?
We got the best fish in town.
Honestly, I felt responsibility for having gone to those people painted such a beautiful picture.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor. Now he's talking about what he said to Warner Brothers.
Overruled.
Please continue.
You change seats.
So, sorry, you can please continue.
I felt it was my responsibility to get the truth to Warner Brothers about what they were going to end up facing down the line, which is 2 franchises that would be causing problems for one another, especially as any news, any press, any media that came out about me at that time had been turned into, I was Charles Manson, I was the worst thing on earth, and they just kept coming. It was like a nonstop fire. So my responsibility,
I agree.
after having painted a beautiful picture of her for them, was to tell them, I think you better.
Objection, Your Honor. He's getting into what
He really
claims
doesn't
he
like
told
Rottenborn.
Warner Brothers or wanted to.
He's saying what he wanted to tell them. He's not saying what he actually told them.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Damn.
Mr. Depp, you mentioned 2 franchise films with Warner Brothers. What 2 franchise films are you referring to?
There was Aquaman, sorry. Aquaman and Fantastic
Aquanet.
Beasts, the one that I was.
He said Aquanet.
And why did you feel a responsibility with respect to those 2 franchise films?
God. I'll be right back.
Warner Brothers
man.
were starting to get quite upset about some of the
Aquanet.
things that were being said about me in the press that were
good God.
constant hit pieces.
Oh God, that was good.
On
Sorry.
one level,
I'll be right back.
One level, yes, it's just acting, it's just movies, but it's business and it's your word. And I had given my word to them, and I felt responsible that I had to tell them exactly what was going on, and that it was going to end up ugly.
And which of those 2 film franchises were you a part of?
I'm sorry?
Which of those 2 film franchises were you a part of?
I was in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and I was in the Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Could we please pull up DX 883? Now, Mr. Depp, do you recall seeing these text messages during Mr. Rottenborn's examination?
Oh, God, yeah. Yes, I remember.
And you didn't seem to recall these text messages. Is that
It truly is fair. It's not, I'm not.
Do you have any?
Knows, I don't know who Molly is. I don't know nothing about this.
Do you have any understanding of what you're referring to in this text message? Or these 2 text messages?
No. I honestly, if somebody else had borrowed my phone or something and made this text to Stephen, possibly. But I don't understand the. I don't have that kind of. I don't have that kind of hubris or expectation. That's quite grotesque text.
Can we take that down, please? Can we please pull up Defendants Exhibit 1821? Mr. Depp, do you recognize this document?
That is behind the bar, yes.
Okay. And do you see Mr. Ronborn asked you some questions about whether there was a telephone
Yes,
in
now
Australia.
I see a telephone there now.
Yes. And did you recall that telephone being there?
I don't recall the telephone being there, but I can see it now.
Can we please pull up Defendants Exhibit 1820? Do you recall me showing you this text message earlier on? Or excuse me, do you recall
Yes,
me
of
showing you
course.
this picture
Yes.
during your examination?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. And I think I asked you whether you recall a phone being mounted on the wall in the left of this picture. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And what was your answer to that?
No.
Mr. Depp, Mr. Rottenborn asked you some questions about your honeymoon. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And I believe you had testified that you and Ms. Heard were on the Orient Express together.
That's correct, yes.
Where had you been prior to being on the Orient Express?
We had been in Australia, and then made it over to Thailand to catch the Orient Express.
If we could bring up the Plaintiff's Exhibit 162 again. Mr. Depp, do you know who took this picture?
Malcolm Connolly.
And despite what Mr. Rottenborn showed you about the picture of you prior to this, do you see a bruise on your face in this picture?
I see like what looks like a pretty decent shiner and a kind of a scratched up nose, yes.
And do you recall how you got the scratches and the shiner?
There was a very brief freak out that Miss Heard had in our cabin just before this dinner. I can't remember why, but there were many. I remember taking the photograph, though. I mean, I remember being there. I remember meeting the chef and all. But I mean, the quality of the photo is not great. The quality of the other photo that he showed us has been prettied up.
Mr. Depp, did you ever physically abuse Ms. Heard during your relationship?
Never. Never.
No further questions.
All right, sir, you can have a seat next to your attorneys. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Your next witness. Didn't quite get that, I'm sorry.
Mr. Depp calls Morgan Tremaine.
All right, Morgan Tremaine.
Oh man, the moment we're waiting for. Morgan Tremaine. It's about to go down.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case in the penalty of law?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mr. Tremaine.
Hello?
Would you please state your full name for the record?
Morgan Cliff Tremaine.
And what do you do for a living?
I produce esports events and design video games.
And in 2016, what did you do for a living?
I worked as the field assignment manager at TMZ.
What is TMZ?
TMZ is an entertainment news website and television show.
And what were your responsibilities as a field assignment manager for TMZ?
I was the go-between the news desk in the office and the reporters in the field, which you might know as paparazzi.
Approximately how many paparazzis were you in charge of?
At the time, it was about 20 in LA, a handful, maybe 3 in New York, and then 1 in DC.
And what were your responsibilities specifically as to the paparazzi?
It would be to dispatch paparazzi to various locations based on tips or just direction dictated by having a list of sort of hotspots where celebrities would be.
And how were those tips received?
They were received either through tips that we received through our tip line or directly through news producers in the office.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you for
And
the
were
5.
tips frequently received directly from sources?
Very often the case, yeah.
And who were the type of sources that TMZ received tips from?
They would receive tips from, oftentimes it would be publicists, managers, agents, or B-list celebrities.
Or
Lawyers?
And lawyers, definitely.
How were tips verified?
Tips are verified by an extensive process. If they come in through our tip line, we have to verify who sent it, that the source is truthful, and so they have to add their contact information, which is a field in that on that website for like name, phone number, things like that.
And how long did that process typically take?
If we receive a tip through the tip line, it could take a while because that would need to be, if it was a tip, we would need to verify it. If it was media, such as photos or videos, that would need to be extensively verified to ensure that the person sending it is the copyright holder and that we would have the legal ability to air it and distribute it.
Right.
And while working for TMZ, were you involved in any assignments related to Ms. Heard?
I was.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first time you recall working on an assignment related to Ms. Heard?
I believe it was May 27th, 2016.
And what was your role in that assignment?
For that, Ms. Heard was filing a restraining order at a courthouse in downtown Los Angeles. So I dispatched camera people to that location.
How did you know?
Under what circumstances would you normally send paparazzi to a courthouse?
Only if we had been informed prior. It's not by any means a celebrity hotspot. We would only ever send people there if we had been tipped off that something was occurring and there was somebody present there.
And what footage was TMZ trying to capture at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
We were trying to capture Amber leaving the courthouse and an alleged bruise on the right side of her face.
How would you know that?
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the LA courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay and foundation.
What were they supposed to do?
Right. She's asking for, I don't think there's a foundational
I'll
hearsay.
overrule the objection at this point.
Let's
Go ahead,
go.
Mr. Tremaine.
Can you state the question again?
What was your team of paparazzi supposed to do while they were at the Los Angeles courthouse on May 27th, 2016?
Their objective was to capture her leaving the courthouse, and then she was going to sort of stop and turn towards the camera to display the bruise on the right side of her face, the alleged bruise.
Whoa.
Did your
What?
team of videographers get the shot of Amber Heard?
We did.
What is the difference between receiving a tip from a news producer and any other source?
If it's any other source, it would have to be verified by copyright. If it was anything that was received directly through a news producer, then they go through that process to verify the source.
Did you do anything to verify the tip on May 27th, 2016 related to Amber Heard?
I did not,
Why not?
because it had come directly from a news producer.
Does that mean it had been verified?
It means that they had verified that tip and deemed that it was credible, and therefore a camera person needed to be dispatched.
Wow.
After May 27th, 2016, were you involved in any other assignments related to Amber Heard?
Yes.
Can you tell me about those assignments?
The next one would have been August 6th, 2016, where she was giving a deposition.
So what did you do in relation to that tip?
I dispatched camera people to a parking lot adjacent to a law office in which she would be arriving to. So we could get the footage of her arriving for the deposition.
Do you typically send paparazzis to parking lots of law offices?
No, not at all.
Did you get the shot of Ms. Heard on August 6, 2016?
We did.
After August 6, 2016, were you involved in any other stories involving Ms. Heard?
Yes, I was.
And what story was that?
On the 12th, we received a video depicting Johnny Depp
That's wild.
slamming
Mystic.
some cabinets that was captured by Ms. Heard.
Here we go.
And what day was that?
Thank you for
I
the
believe that was
20
the
pounds, Mystic.
August 12th
Of 2016?
of 2016, yes.
Can you describe to the jury how you received the video on August 12, 2016?
Yes, the video was sent in through our email tip line,
Ooh.
which is an email distribution that goes to all the producers and to myself as the field assignment manager because it often included celebrity locations. It came in as I recall,
Objection, hearsay.
Shut up.
He's just describing how it
Shut
came
up,
in.
Elaine.
I think he's about to reveal hearsay, Your Honor.
I'll overrule for now. We'll see where it goes.
Yeah, baby.
Please
yeah,
continue.
Judge.
So I received that email and it included a link from some unknown Dropbox type public website in which it contained that
Objection, Your
video.
Honor, hearsay. He's about to describe what comes from the Dropbox website, and that's.
So far, he's just said was a link from the Dropbox. We'll see the next question. Go ahead, next question.
So you received a link. What was in that link?
In that link was the video of Johnny Depp smashing the cabinets.
Thank you, Catherine. Again, thank you for the 25.
And you received this video in your inbox, correct?
I did.
What did you do once you received that video?
We downloaded it. We alerted the web editor who was sitting next to me at the time. We downloaded it and then were instructed by the news producer to do what we call slap bumpers and a bug on it, which is putting the dun 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 at the beginning end, and then putting a translucent watermark over it, which indicates copyright ownership.
Mhm.
After you did that, was it posted?
It was posted, yes.
Where was it posted?
It was posted to tmz.com.
Did you do anything else related to Amber Heard on August 12, 2016?
Yes, I received a tip that Amber Heard would be arriving at LAX, and so I dispatched camera people to film that exit, or her arrival to LAX rather.
And why did you do that?
I was instructed to.
How long does it take to post a story after media's been received by TMZ?
After media's been received, it could take any length of time depending on who owns the copyright.
How does TMZ obtain copyright over images and videos?
The only way to obtain copyright over media would be if we shot it ourselves, if it was sent to the tip line, source verified that it was from the original copyright owner, and then either purchased from that person or given to us. And then the third option would be if it was directly given to us by the copyright holder, like a direct source.
And how long does it take to copyright something TMZ has received through the tip line?
It can take a while because you have to extensively verify that that person owns the copyright. And then possibly, it depends also if you can even get in contact with the person because they might not be super responsive immediately via phone or email that they provided. And then potentially you'd have to enter a negotiation with our clips and clearances department to figure out the cost of that media.
How long does it take for TMZ to obtain a copyright over something received directly from a source?
Something in the realm of 15 minutes just to do what I described before, which is putting bumpers and a bug on something and write the article and post it. It's pretty fast.
How much time had passed from the time you received the kitchen cabinet video to the time it was posted on TMZ?
About 15 minutes.
Wow.
Did any other tabloids other than TMZ post this video?
Objection, leading and calls for hearsay.
Did any other tabloids?
Overrule.
Mr. Tremaine, go ahead.
No, they did not,
And why not?
because it was a TMZ exclusive.
And what does that
Copyright.
mean?
It means the TMZ owns the copyright to
Yep,
it.
they own it.
So it can't be distributed by any other media source without backlinking to TMZ, and they wouldn't be able to upload that media without getting a copyright strike.
Have you seen the kitchen cabinet video that was played in this trial?
I have, yes.
How does that video that was played in this trial compare to the one you received on August 12, 2016?
Exactly, Mr.
When I had clicked the direct link that we received and watched the video in its entirety, it was much shorter than the video we had received, than the video that's been played in this trial. There was some at the beginning that was played here in which Ms. Heard is seemingly sort of setting up the camera and getting into position. And then there's a bit at the end where she's seemingly snickering and looks at the camera. That part was not present in what we received.
Did TMZ edit the video?
No, not even a little. When we receive something and it's edited, there's a clear indicator because there's sort of a journalistic practice they use is when there's an edit, you do what's called like a white flash transition, which covers the entire screen with white to very clearly indicate to everybody there was an edit here for time or whatever,
Right.
just to make it a little more compelling.
That makes
But
sense.
in this case, it was not edited as I was staring at the machine and edited it and present for the entirety of receipt to publishing.
When was the next time you worked on an assignment related to Amber Heard?
It was, well, there was the time where we went to the airport. And then the day after that, because she had flown in for the deposition, because I think the first time didn't work out. So she was arriving again for the deposition in that same parking lot adjacent to a law office.
Have
And
mercy.
was that August 13th, 2016?
That was August 13th, yeah.
And what was your assignment on August 13th, 2016?
To dispatch camera people to that parking lot at a specific
Excuse me.
time in order to film Amber Heard arriving for the deposition.
How did you know that tip was legitimate?
It came from a news producer.
While you worked at TMZ, did you ever receive any communications from Mr. Depp or his camp?
I did not.
Oh,
Nothing
here we
further,
go.
Your Honor.
No! Ask.
Yes.
Oh!
So
Why did you?
how do you know
Oh, snap.
what video was shown at this trial?
I was alerted by a friend that that TMZ was being kind of talked about in this trial, and so I had seen a clip of that.
So you watched some of this trial?
Correct.
Okay. When did you first reach out to counsel for Mr. Depp?
What do you mean by?
I believe that was 6 days
Asmongold
ago, whatever that
isn't
date
the
would
only
have to do
one.
with
All
it.
right. And
What do you
then
mean, TJ?
you received a subpoena, I think yesterday, in care of your attorney Cindy Hickox, right?
Correct.
Okay. And Cindy Hickox represents Christy Dombrowski, Kate James, Robin Baum. and
Objection,
Debbie
Your Honor.
Lloyd. Were you aware of
Calls for
that?
speculation.
Overruled. Were you aware of that?
Thank you, Mr.
No.
Gaming. Again,
No.
10
If
pounds.
you don't have
Oh,
information
okay.
that's helpful to this case, then you wouldn't be a
I
witness,
appreciate you
correct?
too, my friend. Thank
Objection.
you so much.
Calls for
can't.
speculation.
Sustained, sustained. Next question.
I'm not
Right.
aware.
Okay, you know this case is being televised, right?
I am aware that there are cameras.
And so this gets you your 15 minutes of fame, doesn't it?
Objection, Your Honor. Argumentative.
I can ask that question.
Overruled.
Okay, TJ.
So I stand to gain nothing from this. I'm actually putting myself kind of in the target of TMZ, a
Exactly.
very litigious
You are. I
organization.
know who Asmongold is,
And I'm not seeking.
but
any
I don't know
15
why
minutes
you
here.
said that in the
So you're
super
welcome to
chat.
speculate. I could say the same thing by taking Amber Heard as a client for you.
A little argumentative, don't you think?
Oh, hardly. I find that to be purely logical. Thank you.
Now, are you aware that Mr. Depp's attorneys were well aware of the TRO that was going to be presented on May 27th?
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Were you aware of that?
Lack of foundation.
Overruled if you can answer it.
Can you restate the question?
Were you
Understand.
aware that Mr. Depp's divorce attorneys were aware that Amber Heard was going in to seek a TRO on May 27th?
I don't think I understand the question. I don't think so, no.
Okay.
It's
Do
kind of a
you
complicated
know whether Blair Burke, one of Mr. Depp's divorce attorneys, had a very close relationship with TMZ at that time?
Objection. Calls for speculation.
Overruled.
Somebody fell
If
asleep
yes.
in the back.
I was not aware of that.
Okay. And When you said that you were dispatched twice, once to film Amber in a parking lot for the deposition, and then it didn't work out, and so you had to do it another time. How did you know it didn't work out?
Because TMZ.com posted an article saying as much.
Okay.
And
do you
I was
know-
not dispatched.
Do you
I
know
worked in the
why the deposition did not work out?
I'd have to reference the article, I forget.
So do you know?
I didn't write that story. I wasn't involved in the
Do
actual
you know
journalism of that.
which side? Do you know which side would have known or not known whether that deposition was going to work out? In other words, the people representing Mr. Depp or the people representing Ms. Heard?
I wouldn't know.
Okay. And then the video clip, you don't know who provided that, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Not testifying to
I
that.
have no further.
All right, redirect.
Ask who his source is. Did Team Heard give him his
Mr. Tremaine,
stuff?
why did you contact me
Come on.
in relation to this case?
I saw that there was a discrepancy with like the video that was shown here and the video that I know I had received. So I had no interest in testifying. I had reached out simply to maybe try to help with the timeline of things or help with the case in any way, just by virtue of understanding the timeline of the stories that were published and kind of how that can be unclear. But I had no idea I'd be on the stand.
Nothing further. Thank you.
All right, sir, you're free to go.
Thank
Thank you.
That's some BS. We
You
should have found
another
out
witness?
more.
Okay,
I know he can't reveal that, but they
Mr.
should have
Depp calls
asked
Brian
him.
Newmeister, Your Honor.
all right, Brian Newmeister.
Now it goes to boring. Boring tech talk.
He has not been sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to testify truthfully in this case on penalty of law?
He was solid though. I liked him.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Mr. Newmeister.
Good afternoon.
Could you please state your full name for the record?
It's Norbert, Norbert, Brian, I go by Brian, Bryan,
I don't blame him.
Newmeister, Neumeister.
Could you start by describing your educational background, please?
My educational background, well, I graduated from Cal State University Northridge 42 years ago with a degree in political science. From then on, I've been working professionally in photography, totally unrelated, for the past 42 years. And that would also include videography, audio, and a few other different binary related tasks.
Where do you currently work?
I own USA Forensic.
What is USA Forensic?
Thank you,
USA
TJ.
Forensic is a digital forensics company. We are boutique. We're very small. We work. We have offices in Grosse Pointe Farms,
Damn right.
Michigan, and in Phoenix, Arizona. We work with varying types of clients because to us, data is data and it takes no side. So we can end up working for a prosecution, defense, law enforcement, the Innocence Project. We have a contract with the Department of Defense. We do classified and unclassified work. We've done classified work with
Pretty savage, Jenny.
various agencies. We've worked with DOJ, and I've worked in 23 countries as a photographer.
What's your title at USA Forensic?
CEO.
Did you also found USA Forensic?
Originally, in around 1990, it was called Skymeister. And that is because of the amount of helicopter photography time I have. About 10 years ago, we changed it to USA Forensic while still doing a lot of the same tasks.
And you described, I think, some of the entities that you work with. What kind of work do you do for those entities that you mentioned?
We do audio forensics, which is clarifying audio, for example, sting operations or audio that may have been picked up on surveillance or any other type of recording, removing background sounds. Video clarification, we do a lot of work with Axon cameras.
Checked on relevance based on the discussion we had earlier. This experience has absolutely nothing to do with anything.
All right, do you have an objection to him being moved in as an expert in the field?
Well, she hasn't moved yet. I'm objecting to the relevance of the testimony on the subject matter right now.
I'll overrule the objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Go ahead, Mr. Newmeister, you can continue.
Where I left off is We do a lot of work with Axon police cameras because they don't really handle low lux levels or low light levels very well. So we clean up, we are beta testers for a program called Input Ace, which is part of the Axon company used by police officers. We clarify their cameras to better see what happened at night, for example, in different scenes. We do the same with surveillance cameras, any kind of camera, cell phone cameras. We also do cell phone forensics, computer forensics, and cell tower forensics, along with photographic forensics.
What types of cases do you work on?
It can be anything from Fortune 500s to, it can be anything from a pro per, which is a person that's actually just representing themselves in a smaller case, to a lot of homicide cases, defamation. It can be any kind of case that requires cell phone extractions or computer extractions. Could be money laundering, could be
Thank you, TJ.
the
Again,
Department of
thank you.
Defense identifying a voice, that type of thing. Satellite imagery, basically anything with binary information.
Have you been retained as an expert before?
Oh, yes. I would say we average about 150 to 200 cases a year. In the last 4 years, we've done over 600 cases, and that would be in U.S. federal courts, U.S. district courts, various state courts throughout.
Hit that like button down below, guys. Send it past
Throughout the United
800
States. We
likes
just
real
wrapped
quick.
up a case that was an overseas case, wrapped up yesterday. We do U.S. military court. We have a case coming up in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. So it's really varied. I've done quite a few U.S. district court cases.
Have you testified as an expert in digital forensics before?
Yes, and what people sometimes don't understand is only about 2% of all cases go to trial. So 98% of the time, you're actually just doing the forensic work and getting it to the parties. And as we say, data is data. It really doesn't take a side. We don't have a narrative. So very often it's just providing the data for the attorneys to work with or the parties.
Have you ever been excluded from testifying as an expert regarding any work that you performed?
No, but you have to take into account that sometimes there might be curbs put on what, for example, in this trial, there's certain boundaries. Or if you're working with a pro per or with a attorney that is not very familiar with electronics. And the thing is, again, they teach Latin in law school, not binary. And binary is the universal language these days. So sometimes in the legal system, it's a little bit hard to explain to attorneys what exactly we're doing. So we try to break it down and make that work.
What is digital forensics?
Digital forensics is anything that you are using, like your television set, your cell phone, your computer, anything that runs off of binary information that has coding in it.
How long have you worked in digital forensics?
Well, I actually started off in analog, so it's been 40 some odd years. I started off as a cameraman. My first cameras were film cameras. When I was a kid, my dad was a director of sales and sales service administration for the NBC television network on the West Coast. So I grew up around television cameras. My first cameras were cameras people might not have heard of, Leica, Hasselblad, cameras like that.
Ooh,
I trained with some of
Hasselblad.
the best photographers around at the time, William Wallner, Niall Latham, really excellent photographers. And I started shooting videotape from helicopters, and I logged about 14,700 hours of video. And at that time, oddly enough, since we were the only helicopter, a television helicopter.
Thanks, Tyler. I
We were
appreciate
the
it.
only helicopter in Phoenix. At the time, the sheriff's department did not have a helicopter. The police department did not have a helicopter, nor did Aerovac. So we ended up doubling up, being a news crew as well as an air rescue crew. So as far as forensics,
Thank you, Jerry
analog
Lynn.
probably from 1980 to
Love
1990
you
and
too.
digital from 1990 through current.
How'd you get started in it?
Really by osmosis. I started in the production field. I usually don't do that much TV work anymore. I did shoot part of an episode, a program called Planet Earth for the BBC last year. I don't normally do television anymore. It's just 99% forensics. But I got started because very often as working in a helicopter, we'd be asked to work for a police department in a rescue or a chase or whatever the situation might be. And since I'd be videotaping it, they would ask me to break it down frame by frame and analyzing it using what's called a time-based corrector in the day. And so word got out that I could do unusual things because I'm pretty good with machines. And it just ended up, more and more people started calling, and it just became a full-time job.
Have you received any professional certifications in forensics?
Yes, but again, most hackers and people who do interesting work don't have any certifications, because the certification is usually like a week-long course. I've been doing this stuff 42 years. My partner, Matt Erickson, he's actually a
Objection, Your Honor, to the partner who's not testifying to those qualifications on relevance.
Sustain the objection.
Yep. Mr. Neumeister, can you just describe which professional certifications you have received?
Thank you, Willow.
Cell phones, Oxygen, which is a program similar to Celebrite. But these are programs that are used by law enforcement and by private parties to extract data from cell phones that has been deleted, or which is critical in a lot of cases, deleted data, or just to what we call image a cell phone. In other words, get every bit of data that's possible on a cell phone. And again, every cell phone is different. The next would be in cell tower forensics.
Are you a member of any professional associations in your field?
Yes, IEEE, which is the International Engineering Society. And the reason I belong to that is about 40% of the world's white papers on electronics are published through IEEE. So they have a huge database on anything from microwave technology to telephone transmission technology. Anything that I might work with, they might have a white paper on it. Also, with the Audio Engineering Society, AES, I'm a member of that. I lecture to AES. There's a few others, but again, they're just mainly to have a repository of information.
Have you received any honors or awards?
Yes, I've received about 80 honors and awards. I have, for videography, I've got a total of 12 Emmy Award statues, but I've been the principal in 39 Emmy Awards, which means I've written the music for the program, and the program has won the Emmy Award for music, but it was given to the production company, which happens a lot. I won for best editing. I won for best ACE editing, which is computer editing. Best sound. I've done the music to a piece that won the Golden Lion at the Cannes Film Festival. I've done music to a piece that won the gold at the Calgary Film Festival. I've got a lot of awards from Associated Press and different companies from doing documentaries and news.
Have you published any works in the field of digital forensics?
Yes, and they're mostly articles, about a half dozen of them or so. We don't have much time, and I don't usually do it, but it was basically on most of my work deals around clarifying or authenticating. So it was basically the things I published were on clarification of digital files.
Have you appeared on TV as an expert in digital forensics?
Yes.
Where?
CBS, NBC, ABC, BBC, Discovery Channel, a number of different things.
Any particular examples of things that you've spoken on TV about?
Boston bombings, how the frame averaging was done on that, sort of things like that. Again, we get calls a lot, but I don't speak specifically about cases. I just speak about technology.
Have you given any public lectures in the field of digital forensics?
Yes, we get asked quite often, but due to our schedule, it's a little rough. We do what's called Inns of Court. We speak in front of private investigator groups. We do attorneys continuing legal education. Audio Engineering Society, we try to do a few a year, and that's about what our schedules will allow given our time.
Your Honor, at this point, I'd like to tender Mr. Neumeister as an expert in the field of digital forensics.
Any objection?
No objection,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
so moved.
Mr. Neumeister, turning to the work you've done in this case, what have you done?
I was asked to analyze the photographs of purported injuries to Ms. Heard
And what was the purpose of that analysis?
to authenticate photos or to review
Here we go.
and see if they were altered in any way.
What did you analyze to
Okay.
reach your opinions?
The moment we've
Well,
been
I
waiting for.
analyzed groups of photos that were submitted by Ms. Heard's legal team.
What work did you do to analyze those photographs?
Well, normally you start off by looking at what's called the Exif Data. The Exif Data is the binary data that's encoded into a photograph. It tells you, for example, if the flash fired, what the operating software version was of the cell phone or camera that shot a photo, what type of lens was used, what the f-stop was. There's literally about 1,000 lines of code in the Exif Data on a JPEG photo. So we would start with an Exif editor or an Exif viewer.
Anything else that you looked at?
Yes, when we're dealing with RGB cameras, which are red, green, and blue channel cameras, which would be a cell phone or a basic home camera, they're based on RGB channels. We would do four types of scopes. We would do a vector scope, we do a luminance scope, we do a waveform scope, and then what's called an RGB parade. And those scopes analyze different things. The vector scope analyzes where the different types of colors are headed in, for example, it's broken up into reds, magenta, different areas on a scope. We would take a look at that to see if there's anything out of the normal for the type of camera being used. In other words, would there be above a certain percentage of chroma? And chroma means color saturation.
Objection, Your Honor. Outside the scope, we can approach.
All right,
Like,
one approach.
Outside the scope. How's it outside the scope, though? I mean, let's be real. He's here to analyze or talk about how he analyzed the footage. And if the footage has been, messed with or tampered with in any type of way, why wouldn't he be able to sit there and say what he needs to say? He's getting paid to make sure to show that all this, all right, straight up, he's here to show that this guy, that the footage and all the stuff that they submitted could possibly be fake. Is it real or is it fake? We're going to find out here soon. But of course, they're going to freak the F out. This guy's hella professional, right? So he is fully vetted to do his job like this. So, hey, come on out. Let him say what he needs to say. They shouldn't try to hold back. They shouldn't even try to hold back because he's just there to talk about facts. He's just there to talk about facts. So let's go. Let it go. Let it rip. Let's find out. Are all those photos fake? Are those photos fake or are they real?
Mr. Neumeister, based on the analysis you performed in this case, have you formed any opinions?
Come on.
Pardon?
Based on the analysis you've done in this case, have you formed any opinions?
Yes.
What are they?
Well, three basic ones. One is quite a number of the photos have been through a photo, at least one, possibly two.
Objection, Your Honor. Foundation, which photos is he referring to? We have to go through this one by one.
One's in evidence. Mr. Neumeister, in terms of the photos that you looked at and that you formed opinions about, do you understand if they've been submitted as evidence in this case?
Yes.
Okay. And what conclusions have you formed about those?
Same objection, Your Honor. That doesn't cure the issue of the objection. We have to go through this. Which photos is she talking about? Which one's in evidence? What exhibit numbers? That's the basis.
I
of the
see
We're
their
talking
point.
generally about opinions right now.
I see
Your
their
Honor, and we're
point,
gonna
but
get into some
let him
specifics.
say what he needs to
Go
say.
straight to specifics. Okay.
And then he can get down to the specifics. Come on, man. Show them all. Then show all the photos. Go through them all. Oh, I mean, don't go through them all, but you know what I'm saying. Go through the big bangers.
Mr. Neumeister, have you prepared a demonstrative that aids in your testimony with respect to any of the photos that you looked at in this case?
Yes.
I'd like to pull up
Not
plaintiff's
a bad idea,
1303.
Lamarcus.
Your Honor, if I might approach.
I'll start a poll.
Your Honor, I would, can't object, we can approach to discuss
Okay,
it.
you want to approach?
Let's put up a questionnaire. Do you think Amber's photos are real? Yes or no? It is pinned to the top of the question or top of the chat. Have at it. Oh, use the word cap. I didn't put cap on there. I just typed it out. Is it real or fake? Yes or no? Let her rip. Now, here's the thing, though. In his in the Team Depp's or Team Heard's defense, what if they just got the information? What if they got the stuff and that's it? They just took her word for it. They didn't do any background check to see if these photos are real or not.
Can we pull up,
That could possibly be it too. But let's see what happens here.
Mr. Neumeister, does this photo appear to be one that you have analyzed as part of your analysis in this case?
Okay.
There were many versions of this photo. I would say there were dozens of different versions with different chromatic values, different file sizes, different physical sizes. Some had been through Photos 1 or Photos 3, which are photo editing software programs.
Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to
I'll try to find
show
orange peel.
Mr. Neumeister's demonstrative, Plaintiff's Exhibit 1303.
All right, any other objection?
I would object again, Your Honor, because the photograph in 170A is not in evidence.
All right.
Or, yeah, I mean, the photograph is in evidence. None of the photographs use wishes to show the jury are in evidence.
1303 is in evidence over objection. I'm not in evidence, I'm sorry, as a demonstrative.
Just as a demonstrative.
I'm sorry.
Could we publish this very please? And Mr. Neumeister, what does this demonstrative show about the photos that you analyzed?
Well, they appear to be similar. However, if you look below at the file sizes, one on the left is 712 kilobytes. The one in the middle is 489 kilobytes. And the one on the right is 524 kilobytes. Now, what's unusual about that is these photos will not digitally fingerprint with each other. They won't hash. In other words, forensically, they don't match. But the thing is, you could say, well, it was sent through email, maybe it's a different size. The file sizes, for example, would be possibly, you can select the file size, you send a photo, but there's no way to authenticate any photo that was presented in the way the evidence was collected.
I'm looking for orange peel. I don't see him anywhere.
What do you draw from that?
Well, this is just three of many of the same type of
There he
photos
is,
that are
found
all
him.
different sizes and have different chromatic, which means color.
Objection, Your
He's
Honor.
been set
We
free.
just had a ruling on this.
All right, sustain objection.
Mr. Neumeister, stick to your opinions that relate specifically to what you analyzed about the Exif data, please.
All three of these photos had to go through some type of transformation to change sizes.
That's this photo you were talking about.
We can take that one down. You mentioned the Photos 1.5 and Photos 3.0 earlier, I believe.
Photos.
What is that?
Photos 3 and Photos 1.5 are editing programs.
All right,
that,
he's orange peel's back.
Macintosh or Apple put out
Everything's
with their
okay.
product.
I fixed
It's
it.
for editing photos. In other words, you would put a photo in and you would change the colors, or you would crop it, or you would clarify it by
Blame it on Boo.
enhancing, for example, sharpening, or you could darken it. But when you save a photo through an editing program, you leave a mark on the Exif data.
And what is the Exif data?
The Exif data is the data that is embedded in a photograph that tells you a lot about the photograph. And again, in the early days when we were using film cameras, you would write down the f-stop, which is the light setting. You would write the type of lens you use, the time of day, the type of film stock, the type of filters you're using. Now with digital cameras, that's done electronically, and there's about 1,000 lines of code, of which 50 are probably important, that tell you what the camera was doing.
So what's the significance of Exif data in your photo analysis?
Well, in this situation, I can see that normally where the operating system of the camera would be, which means the version that of operating system the phone is running on, it would normally say subtree number 9.1.3 operating system for iOS, which is Apple's iPhone operating system. Instead of saying that, it says software Photos 3.0 or Photos 1.0. That means that the photo had to be rendered, which means composited together in an editing program.
Yeah, LaMarcus, she's
Did
in part
you prepare a
one.
demonstrative that shows some of your analysis of some of the Exif data of the photos in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can we pull up 1304, please?
Man, I got some Applebee's, man.
Your Honor, may I approach?
I got some Applebee's. But I got some Applebee's. Big time. And LaMarcus, you could go to part one and watch it from the very, very beginning, just so you know. It's at the very
Permission
beginning.
to publish as a demonstrative, Your Honor.
Any objection? Any objection, Mr.
I'm sorry,
Murphy?
Your Honor. My
It was just to
co-counsel
publish
talking. I'm
it
so sorry.
as a demonstrative.
Yeah, I like my beverages really,
No
really
objections
cold.
demonstrative.
All right, thank you. We'll publish it as 1304, just as a demonstrative.
And Mr. Neumeister, are these the images in this demonstrative excerpts from the report you prepared in this case?
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
And what do they show?
On this particular
snap.
photo and on all of them, it shows the first few lines of Exif data, the ones that would be most important for this photograph. So, for example, things you would see, the very top line would be the make of phone. It's an Apple iPhone 6. And then the resolution is 72 pixels per inch, 72:1. And instead, where it says software on a normal iPhone photo, it would, instead of saying Photos 3,
Yeah,
it would say
Mr.
the
Gamer.
software version, for example, 9.3.1.
I will definitely take a look at that after
And
the show.
then you've got the date and the time.
Thank you
of
for the £5.
photo, below that, which is really easy to change in an Exif editor. And below that, you have things like the like the flash. You've got the exposure type, how long the exposure was. So what you just highlighted there again was the date and time. So that's universal time code minus whatever area you're in the world.
Anything else you want to show us with this demonstrative?
Yeah, just below that, if you look, there's some things that would say, for example, a directly photographed image. That is not going to be necessarily accurate once it's been through an editor. It will always pretty much say that. So when you're looking at scene type or auto exposure, these are things that really don't matter all that much. What would matter is, for example, if you're taking notes, the focal length would be important. The pattern of metering, things like that to a photographer would be important. And again, this is just a few lines, and the reason I put these in there was just to explain a bit what Exif data is. The actual thing I'm trying to point out is the fact that instead of an operating system, it shows the editing program that was used on this photo.
A directly photographed.
Are there additional photos that you did this analysis for?
Yes, many.
Can we scroll to the next page, please, Tom? Is there anything about this photo that you noted as part of your analysis, Mr. Neumeister?
Yes, again, it's right there, you've got Photos 3.0 on that particular photo. And I think, we pretty much covered what the stuff is, but again, you see the Photos 3.0. And again, this could not come out of an iPhone this way. This would go into a computer, be edited
Photoshop.
and rendered through the photo editor. And this would then be embedded in the Exif data.
They need to make up their minds with this sound,
Do you
bro.
have other photos in this demonstrative?
Yes.
All right, can we scroll to the next page?
Photoshopped.
Same thing. You've got up here in the top, you've got the photos 3.0, and this is throughout a lot of the photos that are
Damn good question.
in evidence, or versions of the photos in evidence. We're gone through photos 3.0 or photos 1.5, an earlier version.
Let's go to
Photoshop.
the next page, please.
Sweet to go. Absolutely true. That comment, that statement right
And
there.
what about this one?
Very true. Thank you for the
Same
super
thing,
chat.
Photos 3.0. And again, in a photo editing app, you can do an awful lot of things. So when you see Photos 3.0, first of all, you know it's not anywhere near an original. There's going to be compression artifacts because it's a JPEG file.
I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
Can we move on to the next page of this demonstrative, please?
And again, same thing. You've got the Photos app.
Okay. And I believe there's one final photo in this demonstrative. What about this one?
Again, if you look up there, it says Photos 3.0 on that particular photo.
Blammo. Busted.
All right. We can take that one down.
Wow.
Your Honor, I
That's
have
even
a little bit
Photoshop?
left. I don't know if you wanted to.
All right, you want to take our afternoon? Let's go ahead and take our afternoon recess. Just do not discuss the case and don't do any outside research. Thank you.
Yeah, you keep an eye on that Amber turd. It's funny how she's vigorously like writing, and I keep wondering what the hell she's writing, especially with this guy who's, you know, making talking about metadata and all that stuff. She don't know nothing about no metadata. You know what I'm saying? She doesn't know that stuff. So why is she sitting there writing vigorously like, oh,
So let's just come back at 4 o'clock.
technically the metadata, like, come on, man. Come on. The absolute arrogance of this woman is absolutely amazing. All right. But this man is incredibly crucial to this whole thing. Because as much as we've been sitting here wondering, hey, are these photos real or are they fake? So on and so forth. He's doing the metadata. You know, he's doing the tech nerdy stuff and putting in the information that he needs to put in. Only to find out that this stuff be fake, man. This stuff be fake. At least those photos so far. I mean, I don't think we're going to be going through every single last photo. I mean, I hope to God we're not. But at the same time, he's the tech guy. He knows all that tech guy stuff. You know what I mean? I'm an idiot sandwich. No kidding. No kidding. But yeah. Oh my God. Man. Well, as you can see, okay, so TMZ dude had some balls on him. Let me tell you. First off, just for showing up. Okay. Just for showing up and being a part of it and knowing that TMZ is probably going to slap him with a huge lawsuit. I guarantee it. There's so much that he was like, yeah, they told us to be at a certain place at a certain time to make sure we shoot a certain side of her face because she has a bruise there. Well, what did they do? They did exactly that. They showed up at a certain place at a certain time. They shot a certain side of her face and only that side of her face. And that stuff went viral. Everybody saw that stuff. Only thing that sucks, I know they can't. I know he couldn't answer it. But I really wished that he was able to ask or answer who is his source. Who was the source? Who was the one telling him to show up at certain places at a certain time? I mean, here it is. It could have been Amber Heard, but it could have been anybody else. You know what I'm saying? Could have been her PR, could have been the lawyers, could have been anybody. So that sucked. I'm a little upset about that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little upset about that. But let's see what this poll looks like so far. We got 547 votes so far. And 5% of you, I'm just going to go for the lower number because it is very surprising when you guys say because there's still people out here that believe that maybe she might be telling the truth. So look here, 5% of you guys think that the photos are real. Now we have this guy here doing his metadata whatever, okay, his mumbo jumbo, his voodoo hoodoo stuff with the technology stuff on these photos and everything. And he's sitting here saying that the ones that we've seen so far that are infamous photos, infamously known, he is sitting here saying that those be fake, that they have been tampered with in some fashion. That's big. That's big. And Jamarcus, absolutely. Going back to Morgan Tremaine, yes, absolutely. The people were worried. People of TMZ were very scared. That's why they were like, no, Your Honor, can I be there to object? Literally. Insane. But he said some things like, let me be real. Oh, and by the way, the poll is still there, so keep hitting that that poll over here. It's pinned to the top of the conversation, top of the chat. But we at least are now having these questions answered finally. You know, what is real? What is fake? But damn, man, if we could only find out who his source was, that would have made me so freaking happy. Because that could debunk or confirm a lot of these theories that are floating around. I still think it's Amber Heard that leaked information, especially that video. And it was edited beforehand. The full version wasn't out there. The edited version was out there. So they took the parts where she was laughing and chuckling and setting up the camera, all that. They cut the bookends, the beginning and end of the video, just to make it look like a different type of narrative, to manipulate the public. That's absolutely 110% insane. That's crazy. Let me take a look at some of your comments. Okay. So now it's 4% that say yes. Oh, Journey, thank you so much for the $2. I appreciate it. Wait. Amber lied to the whole world, Johnny. You know what? Yeah, she lied. She lied a whole lot, man. She lied a whole lot. But yeah, insane. It was pretty crazy that Mr. Rottenborn wanted to go and try to annihilate Johnny. But that's the other thing too. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I know that some of the text messages were old that have been out, but the other ones about Molly and what's mine is mine and so on and so forth, all those things that were written before or that they brought out, where the hell did they get those text messages from? Out of nowhere, they have these text messages. Where the hell did they come from? And why did they pull that out their ass today? I get it that they're doing some Hail Mary stuff and they're trying to survive right now. But at the same time, because you know for a fact they're floundering and they're drowning. They're drowning in their own vomit right now. It's bad. But at the same time, why would you suddenly say any of that out of show all of that right now? Kind of ridiculous. Sandy, Sassy Queen. I wonder if they will make this trial into a movie. You know for a fact they're going to turn this whole thing. Either it will be a biopic about Johnny Depp, eventually when he's dead and gone, or they will turn this into a Lifetime movie extravaganza or something that you'll see on Hulu, because kind of Hulu kind of turned into the Lifetime movie of it all. Does that make sense? Hulu kind of the Lifetime platform, streaming platform for movies. If you notice, it'll be all these like true crime stories. Some of them are lit. Some of them are lit on Hulu, but some of them are trash. And then the movies that they got on Hulu, that's not so good. not so good either. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see. We'll see. I got some super chats though here real quick. Those photos are sus as hell. Nelly Nell, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Breaking news. I know what she's writing. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. Just playing The Shining. Yeah, great stream, Pascal. Thank you so much, Nelly Nell. Yeah, she's penning her manifesto. You know what I'm saying? Before she starts doing something asinine. Because you know for a fact, she ain't going to sit here and do all this and just, she ain't going to go out quietly. You feel me? She ain't going to disappear into the mucky muck all quiet. She going to be out here. Trust me, it's not over. If she loses this, she'll probably try to get some sort of exclusive interview. She'll try to do something. She'll be like, I need my voice to be heard. Trust me, it's not over. We haven't heard the last of Miss Amber Heard. Amber Heard, Laura Strada, thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. I really do appreciate that. Your support has been amazing, including all the other family members too. But Hollywood will not be kind to Heard. She chose the wrong celebrity to falsely accuse him of those disgusting things. Karma is showing its face. Abso-freaking-lutely. I couldn't agree more. It's sad. All of this is just very, very sad. We have at least one person he's a damaged soul. Yes. He's a tortured soul. But does he have to be put through the ringer like this? Real talk. Just because he picked the wrong certain Aquaman starlet. It's just very sad. Mr. Gaming, thank you so much for the £5. I knew all the photos are from Adobe because everyone can use Adobe. Yeah. I mean, or you just watch a tutorial on YouTube for 5 to 10 minutes. You can learn how to do something quick. It may not be the best job in Photoshop, but you could do something real quick. Just blap. You know what I mean? Throw a little red in this area, blur it out, blend in the edges a little bit, change the opacity of it down a little bit. And there you go. You got a little bit of a bruise that looks kind of sort of real, looks like it's on the skin. So there's ways to do those kind of things, but for a fact, you do something on a computer and you render it out, you take it out and you send it to an email or whatever, you save it on your phone. There's ways to backtrack it and find out what the real data is. And you know what? Mr. Gaming ain't right on that too. Whoops, wrong one. Is not wrong on this one too. Everyone, to a certain extent, knows how to use an app or, that filters your face or does whatever to make you look a little bit better, knows how to manipulate photos to a certain extent. I'm not sitting here saying putting bruises and stuff on your face and stuff, but at the same time, everyone knows how to add more saturation, lighten up a photo, darken a photo, crop a photo a little bit. Who's to say that somebody can't take a few minutes out of their day to watch a TikTok or a Instagram reel or a YouTube video just to learn how to do just a little bit of something to make it look like abuse was there. Abuse happened. So I can see that happening for sure. Yeah, Beverly, you know about this. You know about this Hulu. Come on, let's keep it real. Hulu. Don't get me wrong, I got Hulu. I still watch some things on Hulu, but a lot of times it's very lifetimey. So I could see it going on Hulu. I mean, unless they really wanted to get it crazy and raunchy, Hulu's not going to be crazy and raunchy. Not like that. I could see HBO taking it. But then the question is, if they were to do this as a set piece solely around the relationship and the trial. I wonder who would play Johnny Depp. That's the ongoing question. Who would play Johnny Depp and who would play Amber Heard? Real talk. Something to think about. Something to think about indeed. So we got about 6 minutes till we got to get back into this piece. Peacock. Man, I've barely watched anything on Peacock. You know what I mean? I haven't really given it time, to be honest. I need to take a look at it. I know the new Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is on there. I heard it's lit as hell, but I just haven't had time to really watch anything as of late. My time is dedicated to this, to the past couple weeks of this trial. And then, man, I go to sleep, I wake up, lather, rinse, and repeat. You know what I'm saying? Sugar Cookie Man. Well, why is TMZ getting involved? Well, they bought, I guess. I don't know if they actually bought. I think they just received, and they just, maybe whoever sent them the footage of Johnny Depp slamming cabinet doors, maybe they signed some release of the rights to the actual footage, but they received the footage, and then as soon as they got it, they instantly have a copyright on it. So if anybody else goes and shares it anywhere, if that stuff goes leaks somewhere else, this has happened to me millions of times. Anytime there was one where Black China was losing her damn mind, locking up a girl in her hotel while she was all coked out of her mind and stuff. And of course, the girl gets out and she's screaming and crying, bloody murder and all that. And she gets out fine. But there was a video of this. This video did not have TMZ stamped on it. I had a clean video. And so I did a reaction video to it. I'm watching it. I'm talking about it. I'm going, man, Black China needs to find herself some Jesus, whatever. Next thing you know, mind you, TMZ watermark is not on it. There's none of the, as he said, none of the da-da-da in the very beginning with the TMZ thing in the very beginning. None of that. Suddenly, I got hit with a copyright claim saying that I was using their footage. But it was a clean copy. Clearly, they went and gave it to somebody else, or they gave it to TMZ. And as soon as TMZ puts their stamp on it, boom, it's over. It's theirs. Next thing you know, you're getting slapped with copyright strikes, copyright claims, you name it. Just depends on how bad they want to take you down. A lot of times it's just a copyright claim. Sometimes it's a copyright strike. Charlie, what's up, man? Thank you so much for the $2. An unknown up-and-coming male star could play. Yep, that's true. They just better be amazing at it. You know what I mean? Sweet Indigo, 45, thank you so much. Who in their right mind would play Amber Heard? You know what? Think about it. Think about it. That could be, if it was a movie, right? Let's be real. If it was a movie on any streaming site now, that could be Oscar-worthy. That could be an Oscar-worthy performance playing Amber Heard. Think about it. Her, I mean, if they told it in the way that I think the angle that I think they would show it, her going crazy, her having, these different highs and lows, how she manipulates, how she's loving 1 minute, how she snaps the next. I mean, it is an Oscar-worthy performance just waiting to be performed. Let me tell y'all, that is a ground ball, okay? That's an easy win. So any female that wanted to play Johnny Depp, not Johnny Depp, I'm sorry, that wanted to play Amber Heard, man, That's a big opportunity. Seriously. You know, showing her being all nice and demure and sweet and loving and all that stuff. And then 2 seconds later, she's beating the ish out of the dude. Then she's being sexy and she's being sassy and all this. I'm telling you, the multiple layers and levels of that character would be phenomenal. Johnny Depp's character, yes, it's great, but at the same time, it's very, you know, kind of slow and understandably slow and timid and introverted and careful, right? But Amber Heard is a wild child. She's all over the place. Man, I guarantee you there would be hundreds of blonde hair, blue-eyed actresses just chomping at the bit for an opportunity to play Miss Amber Heard. Trust. Amber's so vain, she would demand to do it herself. You know what, Press Start? You ain't wrong with that too. You want to know something? I just thought of this. You ever seen I, Tonya? Have you ever seen I, Tonya? It would almost be I, Tonya. So, because, you know, Tonya Harding, the figure skater that did that thing to, I forgot her name now, the other figure skater, why? You know, why me? You know, that whole thing. Now, think about it. They did it in her perspective. They did it in her angle.
The jury?
Jury's about to come in. But they did it in her perspective. They did it in her angle, right? Carrie something. Nancy Kerrigan. Thank you. Nancy Kerrigan. That whole situation, right? They did it in the perspective of I, Tonya, or of Tonya Harding, right? It was fantastic, right? She was the anti-hero. Well, you know, she was the villain. They did it in the perspective of the villain. I would kill to see an Amber Heard version in the perspective and in the mind of Amber Heard. That would kill. That would absolutely kill.
Yes, Your Honor. Sorry. I'm sorry.
That would kill. Anyway, Oscar-worthy, Oscar-winning performance opportunity right there. Just saying. Nancy Kerrigan. Yeah. So I can see that. Maybe Margot Robbie plays it, you know, again. Or what's her face? I mean, you know, Charlize is dope, but she's too old now. It needs to be one of those young kids out here that are kind of killing it in the game, you know? But I'm with it. Yes, as they said, a star is born opportunity. Yes. But I could see something like that.
Okay, you can be seated. Your next question. Thank you. Mr. Neumeister, do you have another demonstrative prepared that shows a photo with Exif Data reflecting that it was saved in Photos 3?
Correct. Photos 3, yes.
Your Honor, we have a video of these photos, and we're happy to play it once so that counsel can review, if that's all right. Okay.
I was about to say, where is our witness? Who is doing this? Is he high? Is the camera person high? Are they high? They must be high. When they go and they take that 15-minute break, they're just like, yo, man, let me pack this bowl real quick. You know what I mean? Like, come on, y'all. Focus. Tara Reid. Oh my God. Talk about a woman. Talk about a woman that's been just destroyed by LA, by Hollywood. Oh my God. Tara Reid, you killing me. You killing me, Fatal. My God. Does she still act anymore? Damn. That would be terrible. That girl can't act herself out of a paper bag. Come on now. No. Tara Reid Reid. You talking about American Pie, Tara Reid. I'm done. There is a girl that I can think of, but she's not a good actress either. That may be perfect because she's not a good actress. The girl from Cobra Kai. The girl from the main, not the good girl, but the bad girl from Cobra Kai. I could see her doing that. If you know that show, Cobra Kai, I can see that. I can see her playing Amber Heard. Yeah, everybody, Betty LaRue. Let me say this: Kristen Stewart. I'm still not on the same team. I'm not on the same team with Kristen Stewart. Sorry, TJ. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And yes, please share and hit that like button down below. Tara Reid. Yes, that literally came out of Tara Reid. She can play the after, like what happens to when you get ran through by Hollywood. Tara Reid could play that part for sure. But Tara Reid, I love it.
All right, we took care of that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
May we publish, or would you like to see it?
I'd just like to see it first.
Okay. And what's demonstrative business going to be then?
This is plaintiff's 1305, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
Scar Joe. I can see Scarlett Johansson doing it. I'm with it.
Play it. Take it.
Oh, you're talking about he said Mystic said Laura Croft can play Camille.
Subject to Your Honor, you will bring this.
All right. So marked as plaintiff's 1305 and used as demonstrative. You can publish to the jury.
You mean Camille can play Laura Croft? Ay. Man, they need to work on that freaking sound.
Mr. Newmaster, we're going to go ahead and play the demonstrative that you prepared. And then after the jurors had a chance to see it, if you want to explain to them what the demonstrative shows, that would be great.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Seyfried, whatever the last name is, Amanda Seyfried. I could see it a little bit. I could see it.
Can you publish it?
She could probably play it, yeah.
No, this.
There we go. Photos. Ooh.
So, Mr. Newmeister, what was depicted in that
Yeah,
video?
what did we just see, bro?
The same photo treated two different ways. One was marked with the original or with the operating system from an iPhone, which is iOS 9.3.1 on that particular photo. The one that says 9.3.1, there is a graphic below indicating it. The second photo is marked Photos 3, and it looks quite a bit different.
And just, Tom, could we pull up Defendant 708? Mr. Newmeister, does the image in Defendant 708 appear to be similar, same photo as what was depicted in your demonstrative?
It's actually just the Photos 3.0 edit version.
Thank you. We can take that one down, Tom. Mr. Newmeister, have you also formed an opinion about Defendants Exhibit 712 and 713?
Correct.
Did you prepare a demonstrative that shows?
Your Honor, Exhibit 712 and 715 are outside the scope of disclosure.
I can show you if you'd like, Your Honor.
Boy. I'm wondering what the issue is. Real talk. But hey, see, I don't know. Everybody's so crazy about this Millie Bobby Brown just because of Stranger Things. And I have yet to see her do anything other than Stranger Things. So I don't really have an opinion about her yet. I haven't seen her do much. You know what I mean? I'm still waiting to see what's up with that. Emma Stone. Wow. Maybe.
All right, could we pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 1306, Tom? And Your Honor, this is another video that, can you pause that, please? This is another video that we prepared. It's not published yet, so I'm happy to play it once through. So that
Not bad. Pamela Anderson, I'm done. But Saoirse Ronan and Chloe Grace Moritz.
What exhibits are these that are in this video? It doesn't say. I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to get my question out a moment ago. Defendants 712 and 713, Your Honor.
Okay, 1306 then will be demonstrative as identified and published.
And if we could go ahead and play that, please. Tom?
Blammo. Same photo.
And Mr. Neumeister, what's your, what do we see here in this demonstrative?
Amber ain't having it.
Exhibit 712, I believe you have. I'm not sure the dates number, 712 and 713. They're two separate exhibits, except it's the exact same photograph that's been.
Ooh, Evan Peters. I can see that.
One hasn't, or I can't say that one hasn't, but the colors have been modified in an editor.
Objection, Your Honor. Beyond the scope of your ruling, talking about colors.
Beverly, thank you so much for the $10.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I appreciate you too
Mr.
as well.
Neumeister,
Thank you so much.
Did you form an opinion in this case about the authenticity of the photos that you reviewed of Ms. Heard?
Well, first of all, nobody can identify the authenticity of the photos, of any of the photos. Marked photos 3, photos 1, or just marked with the operating system number. And the reason is the manner of collection. So these came from an iTunes backup. Now, what is an iTunes backup?
Objection, Your Honor. I'm sorry. You're beyond the scope of your ruling. Exif metadata. This keeps happening.
Your Honor, may I approach on this one?
Shia LaBeouf is Johnny. Ooh. Crystal, I could see that a little bit. I could see that. I could see that for sure. I could see that. Let Jada play Amber. That would be the black version. That'd be the black version of this trial. Oh my gosh. And Lakeith, what's his name? Lakeith whatever. I forgot his last name, but he's on ATL or Atlanta and all that. He plays Johnny because he's just a weird dude. He's just eccentric, just as eccentric as Johnny. Oh my gosh. Who would play Whitney though? Who would play Amber's sister? Lakeith Stanfield. Thank you, Lakeith Stanfield.
So, Mr. Neumeister, without going into the specifics, what's your opinion about the authenticity of the photos you received from Ms. Heard?
Based on the way they were collected, there would be
Objection, Your Honor. We just ruled on this.
I framed my question. I thought
we just ruled on
the
this.
issue that you're concerned about. Mr.
Your
Neumeister,
Honor.
what's your opinion about the authenticity here?
There's no way for any forensic expert to validate any of these photos.
Thank you very much. No further
Thank
questions.
you. Here we go. You want to cross? You want to cross? You got things to
Good
say?
afternoon, Mr. Neumeister.
Good afternoon.
Is this Rottenborn?
Your only degree is in political science, correct?
Dick.
42 years ago, correct.
And you have no degree whatsoever from any academic institution in computer science, correct?
That's correct.
Are you kidding
And you
me?
have no certifications in computer forensics, correct?
That's correct.
Wow. Wow. This dude is hilarious. Do you have a degree in forensic science?
From the opinions you've testified today, you relied on no data except for the embedded Exif metadata to support those opinions, correct?
Incorrect.
what other data did you rely on for the opinions you've testified to today?
I was trying to explain that you kept it.
What other data did you rely on for the actual opinions you've been able to testify to today besides Exif metadata?
The type of extraction that was performed? You're asking the question.
For the actual opinions you testified to.
Wow.
That is what
He's
I
a
would
piece of
use. I would
trash.
also use vector scopes.
Objection, Your Honor, that was not responsive to my question, Your Honor.
If you want to approach.
This guy's a jerk. Let me tell you something about Rottenborn. Rottenborn is definitely living up to his last name. He is just a rotten mother lover. That dude a dick. I said it. I don't care anymore. That guy's a dick. All right. Bad girl, what's up? Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thanks for all your work. Chloe 70. Okay. Boy, girl, big girls don't.
Sir, you can answer that question.
Boys don't cry.
You can
play
answer the
Amber
question.
Turd. I could see
Can you
that.
restate the question?
I don't recall a question, Your Honor.
All right.
We can move on.
Your Honor, maybe we could have the court reporter read it back.
They could redirect.
No. What was the question, Judy?
I believe the question was, what methodology did I use to make my findings?
Judy's voice has changed. That's.
Sorry.
Is that correct, Judy? Okay.
But that's his MO. Rottenborn's MO is to try to intimidate them by speaking to them like they're nothing, like they're less than. That's his way of trying to intimidate. That's what he was trying to do with Johnny Depp, because he knows Johnny Depp cowers from altercation.
Okay.
But this time, when Johnny Depp was on, he wasn't having it.
When you're analyzing video or photo, in this
Objection to video, Your Honor, that's beyond the scope.
What the? He's doing this just
All
to
right, if you could
mess
just
with
answer
him.
the question. sir.
Demeaning, exactly, B12.
when you're analyzing a photo, a digital photo, you look at the Exif Data, you use a vector scope, you can use a Pantone chart if that's available, and that should be done, but that's a whole different deal. If I go into that, you'll object to it. So you'd also use a waveform scope. You would use an RGB parade. You can use a histogram, though in this case, it's not really all that relevant.
You are not offering any opinions that any photograph in this case was intentionally modified by Ms. Hurd, correct?
Damn
I
right.
am just stating the fact that photographs were modified.
But so you are not offering any opinion that any photograph in this case was intentionally modified by Ms. Hurd, correct?
That's correct.
Can you please pull up Exhibit 170A?
Is that Defendants 170?
Defendants 170, yes, Your Honor. So you offered testimony regarding this photograph during the direct examination, right, Mr. Neumeister? That's a yes or no, sir.
Of a photograph like that, I don't exactly remember the photograph. There's so many different versions of this photograph, but yes, I talked about that particular photograph.
But do you recall being deposed in this matter?
Yes.
You were under oath?
Yes.
And that was on April 6, 2022?
I can see
I
that.
believe.
Can I approach Your Honor?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
It's not Rottenborn. It's somebody else. My bad. It's another jerk. He's doing this for his mama. That's what this lawyer is doing. I'm doing it for my family.
So,
For
Mr.
love.
Neumeister, if you could please turn to page 76. And when I say pages, those are the little pages in the 4 boxes, not the
Oh,
page
gotcha.
at the top. And do you see page 76, line 3? You were asked on April 6th, anywhere in your April 1st, 2022 expert disclosure, do you offer any opinions regarding the authenticity or lack of authenticity of the specific photograph produced as ALH 7101? Response, can I refer to my report to see if that specific number is in the report? Yes. Response, not that specific photo. I just grabbed 3 out of the batch. Do you see that?
Yes.
Can you please pull up Exhibit 517 or Defendants 517?
Thank you.
You are not offering any opinions regarding this specific photograph, right, Mr. Newmeister?
That's correct. My testimony's been limited here.
And you are not offering any opinion that any photograph was visually doctored by Amber, correct?
Not by, I can't put the person who might have done it.
Well, you're not offering an opinion that a photo was visually doctored by anybody, are you?
I'd have to see each photo. There's no way to authenticate any of these photos based on what I received.
So you testified about Photos 3. Do you recall that testimony?
Correct.
Yeah, Photos 3 is a photo editing and photo sorting application, correct?
It's a photo editor and photo sorter, as are a number of editors.
So when you reference Photos 3.0, you never did any independent strike that, Your Honor. So when the software of a photograph in the Exif metadata says Photos 3.0, that could be just saying that the photo was saved in Photos 3.0, correct?
Unless you looked at a scope of the photos, that would tell you that the parameters of the photo do not meet that of the cell phone that it was taken on.
Thank
But
you.
the notation Photos 3.0 in the software Exif metadata, that does not in and of itself mean that the photo was edited in Photos 3.0, correct?
It means that you've recompressed the photo and it will not hash or digitally fingerprint with the original photo.
But it does not mean in and of itself that it was visually edited in any way in Photos 3.0, correct?
Again, it's not the same photo because you're using lossy compression once you save it. So you have changed the photo.
So if you could please turn to page 233 of that transcript. And line 20, do you see question? When it says exit software, okay, Photos 3.0, on to 234. That's just saying it was saved in Photos 3.0, right? Response, saved in 3.0, that's correct. Question, that notation in and of itself does not mean that the photo was edited in 3.0, right? Answer, that's correct. Did I read that correctly?
Yes.
A file has not changed visually just because it has been processed through Photos 3.0, correct?
That's incorrect.
Can you look at page 128 of your deposition, please?
Oh boy. Rotten dick.
At the bottom, line 20, question, you see, question, but the file changed visually just because it has been processed through Photos 3.0. Answer, obviously I understand what you're asking. From a technical point, yes, because of the compression. You get down to scopes and artifacts, yes, it has changed. Was it intentionally changed? We don't know. In other words, did somebody save it in there and just save the photo? We don't know. Did I read that correctly?
That's correct. But again, it says here.
That was my question, Mr. Newmeister.
Okay.
I have spoken.
So if the Exif metadata software field lists the software as iOS, you have no reason to dispute that, correct?
Incorrect.
Well, isn't data data? That's what you testified to, right?
It's very simple to modify Exif data.
Did you find any evidence in this case of actual modification of Exif metadata?
You can't authenticate any of these photos because of the way they were.
That wasn't my question, Mr. Newmeister. Did you find any evidence of any modification of Exif metadata of any photograph in this case?
You didn't listen to my answer. My answer is there is no way to know because of the way the files were presented.
So you found no actual evidence of it, correct?
That no one could.
I'm not asking if anyone else could, Mr. Newmeister. I'm asking, did you yourself you found no evidence of any modification of Exif metadata of any photograph in this case, correct?
Now, I understand trying to control the narrative, but there's no way to answer that scientifically because given the evidence we were given, there is no way to positively or negatively answer that. It's not a question that can be answered.
It is a question, Mr. Newmeister. The question is, did you yourself, you found no affirmative evidence of any modification of software Exif metadata of any photograph in this case, correct? You found no actual evidence of that, did you?
No one could tell either way because.
I'm not asking about anyone else, Mr. Newmeister. I'm asking about you. Did you found no evidence of that, did you?
Objection, Your Honor, asked and answered.
He's not answered what he found, Your Honor.
Overruled.
There's not a way to answer that the way you're asking the question. You have to restate it. And you're trying to control.
Your Honor, he's not
the narrative.
responding to the
Could
question.
you just answer yes or no, sir, to the question?
It's not a yes or no question.
Did you, yes or no, you found no evidence of EXIF metadata modification of any photograph in this case, correct?
That's incorrect.
So no.
Okay.
It sucks when they do the whole yes or no thing.
It is your
because
opinion that the metadata of
sucks.
all photographs of purported injuries that Ms. Heard has identified as her trial exhibits do not indicate that the photographs went through a photo editing application, correct?
never back down.
Well,
Get it?
First of all,
Ellen?
that's not a yes or no question because a lot of the exhibits that you have put up, they're not photographs. They're screen grabs, and they've been changed from a Apple format, which is JPEG, JPEG, to a JPG Microsoft format. So you have actually changed the exemplars. You've changed the data yourselves. We actually ran Exif Data on some of your own examples that you've entered in the evidence. They are not photos from an iPhone. Those were edited in on a PC.
Bam.
I'm going to hand
What?
up a page from your disclosure.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, you're going to ask him to strike that? Like, get out of here. He's speaking facts. He's I give him mad props because he's still trying to hold his own as a professional. He's still being a gentleman. He is still being a professional. So I give mad props to Norbert. I forgot his Brian Niemenhauser. I don't know his last name. Hold on. What's his last name? Oh, I'm a jerk. What's his last name?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Niemenhauser.
So do you see on page 8 of your disclosure, Mr. Neumeister? It states, quote, the metadata of all of the photographs of purported injuries that Ms. Heard has identified as her trial exhibits do not indicate that the photographs went through a photo editing application. Did I read that correct?
That's correct.
No
But
further-
we're talking
no
Exif
further
Data.
questions, Your Honor.
All right,
See,
redirect.
They don't want them to talk. That's the thing. They want to get that yes or no answer so that there's a little bit of vagueness to their
Neumeister.
answers.
Yes.
They don't want
A
them
moment
to
ago, Ms. Murphy was
elaborate.
asking you some questions about your opinion about the trial exhibits that Ms. Heard has offered in this matter. And he asked you about your opinion that they don't indicate that they've gone through a photo editing application. What can you tell us about that?
Well, first of all, on this last exhibit, it says metadata, not Exif Data. So that's two different things altogether. We're talking Exif Data. And on the report, I put metadata because I was requested to cover meta and Exif Data. So it's taken out of context. The Exif Data is the data based that's embedded in the photo. Metadata can be the file data about the file itself. Two different things.
Exactly. If you just let them speak.
The way the data was collected, it was an iTunes backup is a backup.
Objection, Your Honor. Backups.
I mean, come
outside the scope
on.
of Your Honor's ruling beyond
Shut
exit
the
metadata.
hell
I
up.
think you opened the door on the.
I overruled the objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. Go ahead,
Thank
Brian.
you. Speak on it,
An
baby.
iTunes backup is only a backup of things that are on an iPhone that have not been deleted. It does not have the critical operating system. It doesn't have any of the files that would validate the path of a photograph in that phone. It does not have a lot of the log files. It does not have the Knowledge C database, which talks about usage of the phone and the patterns of how data was handled. All it is the photos you decided to save, not the photos you deleted. So it's a very limited database. Without the system registry or without the system operating system, there's no way to tell because it's very easy to modify a photo on a phone and have it just read iOS 9.3.1. But with the actual phone, if you were able to get a hold of the actual phone, and in 95% of all cases we have the actual phones. It doesn't matter if the phones are 10 years old or 20 years old, or not 20 years old, but 10 years old. The reason is if people have something they want to keep as evidence, They don't throw out their phones. They don't recycle their phones. They save their phones. People ask how we're doing phones on 13-year-old cases because people do not throw out evidence. They keep the phone. So in a situation like this, there are no forensic extractions. In fact, the extractions we were provided were backups of iTunes, just exports. So it's third generation, and there is no way to verify the file paths and the history of any single photo that we've looked at.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right,
There we
thank you,
go.
sir. You can have a seat in the courtroom or you're free to go.
Thank you very much.
All right, your next witness?
There we go.
We call Beverly Leonard by video link.
I need the TV. All right,
There
just
we
give us a
go.
moment to get the TV up.
Yeah, mercy.
All right, Ms. Leonard, can you hear me?
I can.
All right, can you just count to 5 for me so I can get you on the big screen in the courtroom?
There we go.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
All right. Oh, that's close. Can you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth under penalty of law?
I don't see nothing. Do you see
Yes, I do.
anything? Come on.
Well, start talking. We'll see. Try the first question.
Good afternoon, Ms. Leonard.
Good afternoon.
All right, Ms. Leonard, if you could speak a little louder for me and try to count to 5 one more time. I'm just trying to get you on the TV screen.
Okay, 1, 2, 3,
There she is.
4, 5.
All right, the lessons we learned in COVID, correct? Okay. All right, your first question.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Ms. Leonard.
Good afternoon.
Would you please state your full name for the record?
Beverly R. Leonard.
Where are you testifying from?
I'm testifying from my home in Arizona.
Are you familiar with the defendant in this matter, Amber Heard?
Who this?
Yes, I am.
And how are you familiar with her?
Beverly R. Leonard. Never heard
I
of this
met
woman.
her in 2009 at SeaTac International Airport.
Do you know who this is, guys?
Why were you at the airport?
I worked there.
What happened when you met Ms. Heard in 2009?
Oh, snap.
I was in the baggage claim area and I observed her with a traveling companion, and
She's talking about the fight
they
that
got
got her-
into an
that
altercation.
got Amber
where,
Heard arrested.
Ms. Heard was
Tazia Van Ree, or
had
whatever her last
grabbed
name is.
her traveling companion
Her wife.
and pulled something from her neck. At that point, I got up and went over to try to break up what appeared to be a fight. And I summoned a colleague to help me, and I stepped in between them and separated them, stopping any further injuries or escalation.
How would you describe the interaction between Ms. Heard and her traveling companion?
Ms. Heard was aggressive towards her traveling companion, and she had reached up and grabbed her arm and pulled a necklace off of her, and then I observed her having it in her hand. She seemed to be not very steady on her feet. Her eyes were blurry and watery, and I could smell alcohol.
What was Ms. Heard's traveling
Wow.
companion's reaction to being assaulted by Ms. Heard?
Objection, relevance?
And I'll sustain the objection.
On relevance? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What did Ms. Heard's traveling companion do?
She raised her hands in what appeared to be a defensive manner. But other than that, she was pretty stoic and didn't really respond much. Her stature was 2 or 3 inches taller than Ms. Heard, so she didn't really need to have to defend herself.
How would you describe Ms. Heard's demeanor when you stepped in between Ms. Heard and her traveling companion?
She was somewhat dismissive. She just said, we're just having an argument. We're fine. We're fine. Because I was asking if they were okay. Are you okay? Is there anything wrong? What's going on? And
Objection, hearsay. Just objection, hearsay to what she's saying.
All right. I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
What, if any, injuries did you observe on Ms. Heard's traveling companion?
She had abrasion on the side of her neck where the necklace was, like a rope burn from the chain as it was removed.
How did you come to testify in this trial?
I became aware of this situation, specifically this trial, because I was sent an email anonymously. I don't even know who it came from, asking.
Objection, hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection.
How would you generally describe Ms. Heard's behavior on the occasion you met her in 2009?
Objection, Your Honor. I already asked and answered the specifics.
No.
Come on. Come on back. What the hell happened?
Yes, Your Honor.
There we go.
Okay. Cross-examination.
Ms. Leonard, when did you contact counsel for Mr. Depp?
Late last night.
Late last night. Okay. And this happened in 2009, correct?
Yes.
13 years ago, correct?
Yes.
And you know that this trial is being televised, right?
Yes.
And so you know that if you have something that might be significant to say, that way you can get on television, right?
No, I had no desire to be on television. I actually waited for a call and wondered why I hadn't been contacted.
All right. But you reached out and contacted them last night, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
All right. Any redirect?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. Thanks, Ms. Leonard. You're
Wow.
free to sign off. Thank you.
Bye, Miss Leonard.
All right.
Deuces. That was
All right.
interesting,
Your
though.
next witness.
Your Honor, may we approach?
Sure.
Very interesting. What do you guys think of that testimony? That was very interesting, y'all. Very, very interesting. But that was somebody. But what's interesting is that she's sitting there going, Elaine is sitting there going, oh, well, this was 13 years ago. Well, all the stuff that we are talking about happened years ago. There are people that are trying to remember. There are witnesses that sat there going, I don't remember that. That was so long ago. All I remember is this, this, and this. You see what I'm saying? So just because this is 13 years ago does not mean that it's still not credible. To me, it works for me because we already know about that situation where Amber Heard allegedly put her hands on her then girlfriend, Taja Van Ree or something like that. I'm trying to remember her name exactly. But real talk, clearly, that still is a credible witness that was there, a part of the whole situation. But it's funny how they'll sit there and they'll try to they'll pull everything out of their ass. All right. Pull everything out their ass when it's for them. But then when Depp does the same thing, suddenly it's an issue. I get it. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. It's part of how it all goes down. But still, very interesting indeed. Let me look this up while they're doing this thing. It's like Taya Van Ree or something like that. Tazia Van Ree. There we go. Tazia Van Ree. Yep. Yeah, there was a legal fight. There was sorry, not between them, obviously. The Hawaiian-born painter and photographer was romantically involved with Amber Heard. That the pair were in a domestic partnership in 2008 before same-sex marriage was legal in the U.S., with Heard considering herself married to the 45-year-old Ree, even using the name Amber Van Ree. That's fascinating. In 2010, Heard came out as bisexual, and a year later, when same-sex marriage became constitutional in New York, the couple are thought to have thrown an intimate party to celebrate. They broke up in 2012. I'm trying to find the part. In 2009, Amber Heard was arrested in the Port of Seattle by the Port of Seattle police after she and Tazia got into an argument at the Seattle-Tacoma International Airport. Heard was taken into custody and booked for misdemeanor domestic violence after she allegedly struck Ree. Now, we have somebody from 13 years ago that was eyewitness to the situation. Allegedly, she was with her partner. That's what she said. And there was some ish that went down. She went up to basically get in the middle of it. And now Elaine is trying to sit here and go,
Ladies and
well,
gentlemen,
that
we're
only
still
happened.
on track to have closing
That happened
arguments
13 years ago, so it don't count.
But the plaintiff only has one more witness in rebuttal. And then since we have a counterclaim, the defense has a chance to have rebuttal for their counterclaim. And so you'll hear the remaining witnesses tomorrow on that. So since we don't have anything further today, I'm going to go ahead and release you at this point. Do not discuss the case with anybody. Don't do any outside research. And we'll see you back tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, an early day. An early day. So the stewardess, I guess the stewardess is going in tomorrow. And we got to find out how much time Team Heard has, because yesterday she said they had like an hour left or something like that. So, of course, they're going to be bringing in some rapid fire witnesses, I'm sure, tomorrow.
All right. And then for the record, charge the plaintiff the remaining time till 5:30. The plaintiff has 7 hours and 8 minutes left as of this moment. And the defendant has 1 hour and 16 minutes left, right? So we're all on the same page. Okay, and jury instructions, we get clean copies today?
Yes, Your Honor. So I think we just received their comments around noon today, but we've had someone not in the court who's been looking at those and I think has narrowed down the areas of disagreement and either is sending or has sent to Sammy an email that sets forth the few remaining issues of disagreement. But largely, I think we're mostly there, but I haven't had a chance to read what they sent.
Mostly, okay. So I have everything, so I don't have everything quite yet then.
It's not final.
Okay, but I will get it sometime this evening.
There,
We have an hour now. You can stay in the courtroom and work it out. How about that?
we're happy to address those. I think we need an opportunity to see what we sent them our comments 2 days ago. We just got it 3
I
hours
understand,
ago,
but we have some extra time right now, so nobody leaves until I get my jury instructions. How's that?
That's fair.
I like that. Okay, we'll do that, and the verdict form also. And then, if I could read Sammy's handwriting and tell you exactly what he's saying. Sammy, what are you saying here? Oh, yes, we got the 3 jury instructions that are under advisement, so we'll address those tomorrow as well, okay?
Shout out to Amika Cream.
All right, anything else?
So to be clear, Your Honor wants to hear the disputes right now or tomorrow?
I don't think you know what the disputes are yet.
Right.
So I'll hear the disputes tomorrow. Well, yeah, we could do those at some point tomorrow. Sounds like we're gonna have some extra
We'll have
time tomorrow. So we'll take care of those tomorrow, but I want everything
Go
today.
get
I
your
want to know what those
merch.
disputes are and have what you have clean
And that's what I'm saying. I think that by 5, you will get
Okay.
what the disputes are.
Okay, for everything, right? Okay, so just stay here until
For
we get
both.
all that,
Yeah.
for everything. Okay,
Sure.
great. Anything else then?
No,
All
Your
right,
Honor.
we'll
Thank
see you in the morning.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh boy. Well, there it is again, guys. You know what I'm saying? We have wrapped up another day number 22. It has been one hell of a day so far. Be sure to hit that like button real quick while we wrap up and talk about these things. Hit that like button down below if you can. Get it past 1K for me. I'd really appreciate it. And if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button. That'd be dope as hell. I also have pinned the merch store, my merch store up above. Check it out. We got some really great designs revolving around the Amber Heard trial and all that. So please, it's only for a limited time only. So please go check it out. Be a part of the fun and support this channel. Of course, I have my join button. I have my Patreon as well, and I got my Cash App. So please, support the channel any way you can. Even regardless of that, you guys showing up is support enough. So I do appreciate the love and support here as well. But here it is, guys. That was very telling. That was a very interesting person that they threw in, a little bit of a curveball that was not on the list of people that they were planning on having in today. So that was a nice, happy surprise, I'll be honest. But it was nice to have them show someone who was in the space in the airport when all that ish went down between Tazia and Amber before they became engaged. I guess they were domestic partners at that time, because they, same-sex marriage was not legal at that time. But of course, she put her paws on her own love. So that shows that she has a history of violence. A history of violence, period. So I am very happy that they brought her up. I think it was a very good move, in my personal opinion. And of course, the plot will continue to thicken here. Tomorrow is their last day.
You make self-love look easy.
Tomorrow is their last day. Real talk. Tomorrow is the last day of depositions, of testimonies, all that. Tomorrow is their very, very last day. And Amber Heard's team still has 1 hour and 19 minutes or something like that left. So they got plenty of time to throw in some curveballs, like they just did a little bit ago when they cross-examined Johnny Depp after the lunch break. My Lord, they threw some curveballs. Real talk. So this is going to be a very fascinating time tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be lit. I guarantee you tomorrow is going to be very, very active. And I'm telling you, I've always said this, and I'm going to say it again. I'm here for it. This is going to be crazy, okay? And yes, Samantha Joe, all of this stuff happened years ago. So a lot of them are still trying to remember things that they said, didn't say, meant, didn't mean, so on and so forth. Yeah, it's very crazy. But yes, tomorrow is the penultimate day, the second to last day before this whole thing is basically wrapped. I mean, I think that they're going to be doing their closing arguments on Friday, depending on the jury. If there's a huge debate, if they're going to be debating that much, there might be some, they might not do anything until Monday, or not Monday, but Tuesday, to come out with the final, you know what I mean? Their final verdict. They may not come back until Tuesday, because we're walking into Memorial Day weekend. We got a big holiday weekend right ahead of us. Pools are about to open up, all that stuff. People are going to be going on vacation. So over this weekend, if they don't walk in to that room to deliberate and make their decision and walk out only a few hours later with their decision, we might not find anything out until Tuesday. So we got to be realistic with that. And it also depends on how long their closing arguments are, if they last 17 hours or not. Because some of these guys can be a little long-winded, real talk. So there it is, guys. There it is. We got the poll here, about almost 1,300 votes in here. And we got 5% that still think that those photos are real. 95% of y'all believe that it's not real. That's what's up. I mean, after seeing Neumeister come up and talk about all that, saying, hey, you know, when it goes through certain programs, it leaves kind of like a stamp on it, showing what kind of software or app was being used during this time. If it was altered, you can see it in that way too. So he's showing that and debunking all that ish, y'all. So yeah, it looks like her stuff is a full-on lie. Full-on lie. But fascinating it has been. Let me tell you that. I'm happy that it stopped, it ended early, or a little earlier today. It's kind of a blessing, I'm going to be honest. You know what I mean? It gives me a chance to kind of relax a little bit before the rest of my crazy ass day. So this is where I'm going to leave you guys for today. Okay? I do appreciate all you guys for being on today, being a part of the conversation. Real talk. Without you guys, none of this would be possible. I really do appreciate it. So please do me a favor before you head off. Do not forget to hit that like button down below. Crush it, okay? Love to see it get past 1K. So don't forget to hit that like button down below. Send it all the way up past 1K before you leave. Just before you leave, hit the like button. Doesn't cost you a thing, all right? But it helps this channel grow. So please and thank you, okay? And do not forget to hit that subscribe button. You know we're going to be back here again tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock Central Standard Time, to chop it up and watch this madness, because tomorrow is going to be a nail biter. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you. It's going to be insane. I don't know why that one was on. My bad. I was like, why is that so? Sounds different. But anyway, guys, I appreciate all y'all for being on and riding with me today. We'll be on tomorrow morning. I might be on a little bit later on tonight to do a little bit of a recap. I'm going to let these other channels do their thing, because a lot of them are going to be hopping on fairly soon to do their recaps. But then I will do my own here in a few hours as well. So hopefully I get to see you guys and hang out, and we get to laugh and chop it up about all the craziness that has transpired over today. Okay, guys? Anyway, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and go check out my merch. The merch is linked to the top of the chat. I'd really, really appreciate it. Anyway, it's time to get going. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.